life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. Our fellowship-trained orthopedists do it all. General, sports, pediatric, joint replacement, fractures, spine, prevention, advanced diagnostics, progressive treatments, minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, and more. Visit wakemed.org/wakeortho and get back your life.
I'm Dr. Miller, a dentist and a volunteer for Dental Lifeline Network. DLN asks dentists to volunteer to see just one patient per year who might not have access to proper oral health care. Join me in making a difference.
Go to willyouseeone.org to learn more.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's bow time." So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's. Save $40 on select 5-gallon HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams paint, like Weather Shield, Showcase, or Ceiling Paint. Plus, save $10 on drywall PVA primer and get free same-day delivery to the job site when you order by 2 p.m. Lowe's knows paint. Lowe's knows pros. Offers valid through 6/14. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Porzingis lights fire on a three and drills another deep one. And a big smile comes off his face. 18 points in his return from the calf injury. Rebound to Tatum. Hits the rolling Porzingis to the rim for the slam. He's got 20 in his return. The horn sounds. Celtics race to a 29-point lead. Saw it trimmed to 8. But the Celtics recovered behind defense and behind the return of Kristaps Porzingis. And Boston takes the opener of the NBA Finals, 107-89.
The Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam today. Got a jump start on the weekend. Victoria Vodenecker.
Yeah, that's me.
There you go. You recognize her. She's producing the show as always. Let's get it started. You just heard it. I love going right to the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
Let's get it started. You just heard it. Celtics beat the Mavericks. I hate to say this, the Duke guys. I think the Duke guys had to wear this one for the Dallas Mavericks. Game 1 of the finals last night. I know they cut it to 8, and everybody got really excited. And some are seeing that as some solace for the Dallas Mavericks. It was a landslide victory for the Celtics. It was the type of victory where it got close almost because the Celtics allowed it to get close. One of those games where everything just broke well for the Celtics. Kristaps Porzingis. This is where we're going to start getting into the Duke guys, right? Derek Lively, the rookie out of Duke. Kyrie Irving, the former first overall pick out of Duke. Kristaps Porzingis had that thing where you miss a long time and you come back and you're immediately on fire. I actually think this is more of like a men's league phenomena where you get caught up, you miss like 3 games, you don't shoot for a month, and then you show up and you're on fire, and you actually think it happens in golf even more, where you don't play the entire winter. You come out for your first of the spring and you hit it well.
Yeah. And
you start to think maybe that's why. And you're like, I think you know what I need to do. I need to play less.
Well, you're definitely filling in for Adam if you're talking golf already.
Look at that.
Check that box.
We'll get to soccer in a second. Kristaps had that thing where it's like maybe the thing he needs to do is take a month off every postseason, and then when he comes back, he'll just be on fire immediately. And it's not actually the case. It doesn't actually work that way, but it feels like it. Here's Kristaps Porzingis on his performance in Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
I think obviously what helped me is just even from the walkout before the game and then getting on the court, getting that kind of support was unreal, and the adrenaline was pumping through my veins, and that definitely helped. Obviously, it wasn't ideal that I was out for such a long time, but I did everything I could to prepare mentally for this moment coming back, and it paid off, and we got the job done tonight and had a good game and happy about the result.
He was winking at people.
He did. He did throw winks out.
Mark Wahlberg was on the sideline, really excited for Kristaps Porzingis.
Oh, yeah. Oh, big time.
And it sparked everything. And then from that point on, Jaylen Brown suddenly turned into Dikembe Mutombo for a little bit and was meeting guys at the rim to block their shot, something you would have expected maybe from Porzingis, but Jaylen Brown was like, no, if he's scoring, I got to take over the defensive side. He took care of it. Kyrie Irving, multiple wide open threes. Clank.
Yeah.
And, obviously, this is the Adam Gold Show. I host the show right after this on 99.9 The Fan, and people that listen to that show are very aware that I like to use my dad as a reference point. My dad is a big Celtics fan.
Oh, okay.
Grew up in Connecticut.
Nice.
Boston. You don't have to.
I mean, that's okay. To each their own.
It's kind of insufferable because he has the attitude of somebody that didn't win championships for the first 40 years of his life, and he refuses to acknowledge that over the most recent 20, 25 years of his life, they've won everything, but he still has like the bitterness. It's a Boston thing. Anyway, so I actually watched the game with him last night. They were driving through town and watched, and he was very worried despite the fact that they were up 22 and cruising.
It's not enough of a buffer.
Yeah, it's like, well, if this were the fourth quarter maybe, but not this, and I'm going like, you're up 22. And then the ball swung to Kyrie Irving. And when I tell you he had enough time to like rotate the basketball to get the good panels, right? So you have the panels that don't have the logo on it.
Right.
And took the jumper and clanked it off. And I went, if that shot isn't going in, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Because Kyrie Irving with a wide open three like that, he's good. Like it's in. And on a day where it's not, the Celtics have nothing to worry about. And it turns out they had nothing to worry about. Derek Lively, first round pick, rookie out of Duke, goes to Dallas, is kind of a difference maker. Suddenly, he hasn't missed a shot since 3 weeks ago. Went the entire Western Conference Finals without missing a shot. Was 1 for 1 last night, but every single time someone came down into the lane and he was in there, he just fouled him.
Yeah.
And then he looked at the ref like, oh, my gosh, how did I foul him? Then they play the replay, and it'd be like, well, you smacked him in the arm, his shooting arm. And it was very obvious.
The definition of
exactly. It's like, I'm fine with the complaining if you have a complaint. But the replay was immediately like, stop complaining. It was a quiet date for Jason Tatum, another Duke guy for the Celtics, but they didn't need him. This series now pivots, and this is important. Because, Game 1, it's unbelievable. ESPN, excuse me, it's unbelievable with the graphics, the stats they put up immediately. It was like triple zeros, right? Game over, Celtics win. Within 2 seconds on the broadcast across the bottom, it said teams that win Game 1 of the NBA Finals win 70% of the full series.
Right.
Which actually, there's one NBA Finals a year. It's a pretty small sample size. 70 isn't that dominant. But anyway, it all comes down to the Duke guys. It all comes down to Derek Lively and Kyrie Irving and if they can get it going. So you hear all of these improvements and all of these, what can they take out of the fact that they closed the gap and what can they do this and what can they do that? And in a lot of ways, when you get to the NBA Finals, the teams know what they are. It just comes down to, can certain players play better? Jason Kidd, the Mavericks head coach, on the improvements the team needs moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's just, about the positives. What can we do to build on the positives? We'll talk about that tomorrow. Understanding the small things, the physicality, we have to be better at that. But just looking at the positives, look at the things that we can control, and then we'll build from there.
Coach speak, man.
A lot of coach speak.
Look at the positives. Look at what we can control. You got to look at the positives and control the controllables. What was that, 23 seconds, 22 seconds of
positive controls?
He said nothing.
Yeah.
So I'll try to say something for it. Kyrie has to shoot better. Kyrie has to make teams pay when they collapse on Luka. And Derek Lively has to defend better. And Derek Lively has to stay out of foul trouble.
And hopefully Luka's knee is okay.
Yeah.
Because that was a little iffy last night.
There was a lot of wincing.
There was.
It was going into one commercial break, and we actually talked about it watching. They showed a Jaylen Brown dunk, which was like, all right, highlight. And then they usually, in that situation, they would then show a Mavericks highlight, right? Going to break, get both fan bases like, stay tuned, you're playing well. They showed Jaylen Brown dunking on somebody, which was like, whoa. And then they showed Luka just running down court in slow motion with his face going, ah. I was
straight doomsday.
Just like, well, Jaylen Brown's dunking on people, and hopefully Luka can walk. Back after this.
Yeah.
Doris and JJ next. Luka, well, actually, let's look at Luka, because actually what Luka did last night, and by the way, Luka is unreal.
Oh, yeah.
The guy scores and ones in the NBA, and his feet don't leave the ground. It's just all body control and size and power. It's kind of unreal. But Luka averaged 10 assists this regular season. It's great. He had 1 last night.
Yeah, that's not good.
To me, that's obvious what the Celtics' plan is. The Celtics is, Luka, go score your 30, go score your 35. Nobody else is gonna beat us, right? So we're not going to double as often. We are not going to sell out to stop Luka at the expense of getting Derek Jones Jr. a dunk, or at the expense of getting Derek Lively a lob, or Kyrie Irving a one-on-one, or whatever it is. So, again, to me, that is a personal challenge to Kyrie Irving, right? Saying Luka is going to get his. Somebody else has to make a play. Somebody else has to be, for lack of a better term, Robin. And Kyrie was not last night. So literally all he has to do is make those wide open jumpers I was talking about, is get to the lane. He was blocked by Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's not a shot blocker, and Kyrie Irving has some of the best finishing package at the rim that we've ever seen in the history of the game. I think the lasting image of this could be Luka wincing, could be Jason Tatum hitting a high arcing jumper, could be Kristaps Porzingis winking. I think the lasting image from Game 1 is Kyrie Irving. Again, it was a slow motion replay, the one that I remember, but it happened in real time, obviously. Dribbling, maybe the best handles in the league, and he dribbled it off his foot. And Mike Breen, the play-by-play guy, literally said, as they played the slow motion replay, many believe Kyrie Irving has the best handles in the history of the game. He has it on a string. You never see this. And then right as he said that, boom, dribbles it off his foot, and it's a turnover. The Celtics grab it. And it's
way to jinx it.
Well, it's yeah. Announcers jinx.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if Kyrie Irving's missing the open jumpers and dribbling it off his foot, I'm trying to think of the example, right? If you are an NFL team and you have Lamar Jackson and he's running in the open field and slips, you're just like, you know what? Probably not our day. He might be the best rushing quarterback of all time, and he just clicked his heels together and fell over while running in a straight line. If you are the
Christian McCaffrey and you drop the ball.
Exactly. Christian McCaffrey and you run the wrong route or something.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? Probably just not our day, everybody.
Pack it up, guys.
Luke Kuechly misses an open field tackle.
Right.
And you're just like, weird day. Weird day. If Luke Kuechly plays better next time, we might win that game.
Yeah.
Kristaps Porzingis having that game, the other side, that's a challenge to Derek Lively. Tim Legler, ESPN analyst on Kristaps Porzingis' impact.
You can't put a measure on what Kristaps Porzingis gave them with his jolt of electricity after not seeing him so long to come out, have that kind of an impact, man. What that did to that building, what it did to their team, it destabilized Dallas. I don't think they were prepared for what Kristaps Porzingis presented for them in the challenge in that first half.
Personal challenge to Derek Lively. ESPN Radio put out a tweet. Okay, and this is where you can go double check it if you want to, or take my word for it. ESPN Radio put out a tweet, which was essentially to show exactly what Tim Legler just said, right? Kristaps Porzingis impact. Oh my gosh, he was great. It was I think they call it a carousel of pictures, like a slide deck. Like there's
yes,
right.
Yes.
You could scroll sideways through a bunch of pictures, and it was just Kristaps Porzingis making plays, still images. It was a tough look for Derek Lively. It was Derek Lively in the background with an oh-no face. It was Derek Lively jumping up to try to block the shot, but the ball is just 6 inches above his head or above his hand. It was just he was in all of the pictures.
Just the opposite.
That was Kristaps Porzingis focused, and it's like that's a bad look. So if everyone comes out of the game saying Kristaps Porzingis changed the game, the guy who was charged with guarding Kristaps Porzingis not having a great day. I'll tell you exactly what this is like. I played football at the University of Delaware. Every once in a while, there's an FCS like draft prospect, right? And I'm an NFL nerd. I'm a football nerd, so I watch like the entire draft. Every once in a while, there'll be a Richmond or a James Madison or one of these schools. There'll be a draft prospect, and they'll go in the 3rd or 4th round. And I'm watching the draft, and as soon as they're picked, I immediately go, they're going to show like 3 highlights of this guy from college. All I'm rooting for is that Delaware isn't the team that the highlights are against.
Oh, yeah.
Have it be UMass. Have it be anyone, like literally anybody else. Have it be Villanova. And we have like the Michigan helmets for Delaware, so we're very noticeable. And every single time it's like, this receiver gets drafted in the 4th round. Small school guy, let's see some highlights. And then our helmets pop up, and I'm like, oh,
No.
man.
Well,
Come on, guys.
As a Carolina Panther fan, I feel this because now we're compared to, hey, well, at least you're not as bad as the Panthers.
Exactly. Well, yeah, same thing happens at like the NFL honors. It's like, here's comeback player of the year, so-and-so, and all you're hoping is like, don't be Panthers on defense. Don't be Panthers on defense. And it's always
the Panthers on defense.
So Derek Lively, in this game, he's been great through the postseason. He's been the other team during the highlights where it's like, that's not a good look for us. Not a good look for us. The Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam. We're getting it started here. Let's move to the Canes a little bit. Canes. I'm going to try. See, on my show, it's so hard to do this because on my show I can be a little sarcastic, right? I can say like, Canes, watching at home, but I don't like.
Right,
These people don't know me, so I don't want to be as sarcastic about it. It's a dry sense of humor. It's a laugh about it.
Love.
It's a laugh about it, so we don't cry about it style thing. Canes watching the Stanley Cup Finals get started this weekend. From, I don't know, I would assume Jarvis is in Mexico somewhere.
Probably. Most likely.
I assume Burns is cutting down a tree in the woods.
He's in the forest.
Yeah, just starting fire with 2 sticks.
Yes, building boats.
Aho's in a sauna in Finland, probably
For sure. Getting ready to get married.
True. Actually, that's probably where they all are.
Yeah.
They're all out there in Finland in a sauna. But that's not where they wanted to be.
No.
They wanted to be in the Stanley Cup Finals. So I'm big on their like little phrases, right? Little clips, little promos, whatever you want to call them. I'm big on this one. A smart man learns from his mistakes, or a smart person learns from his mistakes. A wise person learns from the mistakes of others. And what that basically means is, everybody can do the whole, like, I don't want to make the same mistake twice. Like, if you get eliminated in the playoffs because you had a terrible power play, then it's very obvious to go, hey, you know what? We need to fix our power play.
Yeah.
It's very A to B. It's more difficult to get ahead of it, to be proactive and say, this other team had success because of XYZ, so we should improve our XYZ. Or vice versa. this other team had their season ended, so we should make sure we don't end in the same way. So what can the Canes learn from the two teams still playing, the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers? That's like a humble place to be, where you're willing to say, well, I didn't do everything right. I could learn something from a peer. What could they learn from? We'll start with the Panthers. In a lot of ways, the Florida Panthers and the Canes are very similar.
Yes.
They play a very similar style. They have some similarities as far as people that have worked for both organizations. Some guys in the front office for the Panthers spent some time with the Canes. There are a couple players that overlap. Obviously, Paul Maurice, throwing that out there. Two big differences, though. And if you look at if these two teams are very similar, except for two differences, and one is in the Stanley Cup Finals, and one was eliminated in the second round.
Yeah.
To me, that's learning from what they do well to improve those things, and maybe you'll be the one in the Stanley Cup Finals. And we had this conversation off air, Victoria and I, as we were planning, and I kind of set it up exactly how I just set it up. And Victoria just went, goaltending?
Yeah,
I was
good goalie? Or
exactly.
Consistent goalie, I should
Exactly.
say. A reliable goalie.
Reliable, but also spectacular.
Yes.
Right? When you're talking about certain goalies, I think kind of the part about Freddie that confuses me, or that I think gets over talked about, is he is usually solid enough.
Yeah.
The thing that he doesn't do enough is the spectacular. Right? It's and he did a little bit of it in the first round this year, where he would do that. I call it the soccer goalie save, where he's diving on his side and he's out of position, but somehow he makes the play, or throwing his stick up when he's bent the wrong way and somehow getting the stick on the puck.
He made the windmill.
The windmill, exactly. When that is something that I think the elite goalies have an innate ability for. Bobrovsky, Igor, the goalies. They have an innate ability for it, and that's where I think sometimes Freddie is lacking. You look at the Panthers, it's like, well, they get that, and they get that element pretty consistently. I hate to say this because I know there's a lot of Freddie fans. I think Pyotr has a little bit of that.
Oh, he's got spunk.
I think Pyotr Kochetkov.
I love him.
I like to call him Pokechekov.
Yeah.
Because he's the king of the poke check.
He's feisty.
He is. And I think with a little bit of seasoning, and I think he showed a lot of it this year, right, as a 24-year-old thrust into a really interesting situation. He can avoid some of he can raise his floor to be more consistent without completely sacrificing the want to get 10 yards in front of the goal and make a play.
Yeah.
So,
I wanted to see more of him in the playoffs.
I want to see a lot more of him.
Yeah.
I want to see at minimum a rotation. And I think next year might have to be it's Pyotr's goal. It's his net.
Well, I mean, they were even going in saying, Freddie, he's really hot, but he needs a break. He gets tired. But then he never got the break.
Then they played him in every game.
Every single game.
Except for one in which Pyotr played well.
Yes.
So learning from the Panthers, get your goalie in order. Learning from the Panthers. This is the other one that's more kind of vibe, right? Goalie is it's black and white, inbounds, out of bounds, go, no go. The other one is more physicality.
Yes.
More physicality. I watched the Panthers. I don't think they have tougher guys. I don't think they have maybe a little bit more size. I don't think they have guys that are more willing to give their body up for the team. It's just they're
more aggressive.
15, 20% more oomph.
Yes, I like it. Oomph.
Oomph. OOMPH. Oomph. Just 15 to 20% more of it. And that's something that you can notice, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that the Canes this offseason, it might not be, let's be clear. I'm not saying Aho should start putting people into the boards and
even though we did see bloody Aho last year.
Hey, there's a lot of I think Aho, if you gave him the green light, would love to. He would enjoy it.
Right.
I don't want Seth Jarvis putting himself more in harm's way because the guy he's proven he'll play through injuries. I don't need him to prove it every year.
Yeah.
But maybe there is a signing. Like, remember what the Bunting signing was for.
Mm-hmm.
Remember what a guy like Lemieux is for. If you can find somebody that you trust a little bit more to do the Kane system hockey stuff.
Even D'Angelo.
Exactly. When they're on the ice, there's a little bit more of that. And I think that's something they might want to entertain with whoever you replace if you don't bring back Shea, if you don't bring back Pesci, if you don't bring back Martin Necas, if you don't there's a lot of guys that might be on the move. When you're replacing them, pay attention to all of the analytics and stats, but also pay attention to, like, if he's on the ice, are they less likely to hit Jarvis?
Right.
Like, I think a little bit of that goes a long way.
It's helpful for sure.
What can you learn from the Oilers? That's what you can learn from the Panthers. What can you learn from the Oilers? I say this half joking. Draft Connor McDavid.
Yeah, that'd be great. McJesus on the team. That'd be awesome.
Half a joke, because part of me is like, no, do it.
Right.
You got the 27th pick. I don't think McDavid is the next McDavid is going to fall to 27. But
I mean, if he loves barbecue and wants to come down here, we have Bojangles. We could do it.
The half that I'm joking on is it's not like everyone would, right? That's if you could draft, Michael Jordan, you would. If you could draft, Mike Trout, you would. But there is a smaller side of that, which is protect the stars you do have access to. We're going to talk a little bit coming up about a report from Elliot Friedman, the Sportsnet, about Jake Gensel. And more signs seem to point to him leaving Carolina in free agency and going somewhere else. And I'm going, don't be afraid of a top-heavy roster.
Yeah, it's worked for the Oilers.
Edmonton, it's sometimes it's like, well, if we sign that guy, we're not going to be able to re-sign anyone on our fourth line. And I'm going, I don't know if I care about the fourth line that much.
Yeah.
No disrespect to those guys, but you're Carolina. You have a great farm system. What's the point of having a great farm system if you can't bring up young guys cheap to fill holes?
Sure.
And there'll be ring-chasing veterans that'll take a very cheap deal to come be your fourth line, especially if they get to ride the coattails of somebody like Aho, Gensel, Svetch, top line.
Yeah.
And Jarvis and everybody else that's a part of it. If you tell them those guys are on the roster, they might be willing to be fourth line or third pairing defensemen to get a shot at a win.
Well, and the Canes pride themselves on their defense. So if you have a top-heavy line that can score you 2 goals a game,
just
2
go
3
get
goals,
a bunch of defensive forwards.
Be aggressive,
I
like
like
the
it.
Panthers, and then have your top-heavy line.
I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, I think it would work.
Like, I think Stahl's third line, whoever's paired with them, they're going to be a 0 plus minus. You're not going to score. We're not going to score.
Yeah.
And as long as you do that and then present your top 2 lines as these wonderkin lines, you'll be fine, right? Just you win first line plus 3, second line plus 1, third, fourth line 0s. You win by 4 every game.
Exactly. I like it.
Couple power play goals. You win by 6 every game.
Right. See, we should be GM.
They're looking.
They are looking.
We should apply.
A tag team.
Matter of fact, we're gonna have to talk about that one. We're gonna have to talk about that one coming up next, because it is about time to sound the alarm on the Canes GM search. 14 days without a GM. That's coming up next right here on the Adam Gold Show.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
I think it's the most elite hot dog you can get is a Chicago dog. It's delicious. Do not knock it until you've tried it.
I understand it's a delicacy. It's unique to Chicago, but I'm over that. I don't necessarily need to have that. I think it's too much on a hot dog. A hot dog, maybe you want to put some sauteed onions, maybe a little bit of relish, but I think that's about all that belongs on the hot dog.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Want to win a trip to the 84th Annual Sturgis Motorcycle Rally and a custom Harley-Davidson performance bagger? The Law Tigers are giving away the ultimate trip of a lifetime. Go to stylinginsturgis.com to enter. Prizes include VIP stay at Glencoe Camping Resort, custom Harley-Davidson built by Lane Splitter Garage, sound system by Rockford Fosgate, turbo from Trask Performance, parts from J&P Cycles, firearms from Magnum Research, jewelry from Anvil's Cash, and bikes from Soul E-Bikes. Go to stylandindsturgis.com to enter today.
Helping kids find their place, stay safe, and learn is the most fulfilling job imaginable. Be part of that journey with the Wake County Public School System. Now hiring bus drivers, mechanics, and instructional assistants, and offering competitive salaries, attractive benefits including retirement, and opportunities to grow. Whether you want a flexible job driving buses, maintaining and repairing them, or a rewarding position helping teachers, you'll love working for the largest school district in North Carolina. Apply now at careers.wcpss.net and discover a place where anything is possible.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, it's Victoria with 99.9 The Fan for Men's Health Month, and today I'm joined with Dr. Chad Greer from Wake Orthopedics. We are talking regenerative orthopedics today. Now, Dr. Greer, what are the benefits of PRP therapy?
So PRP is taking your own body's healing properties and putting them into an area that needs healing. So when you have a tendonitis or you have mild arthritis and your body has just not repaired that area, we're taking your own body's healing properties and putting them into that area in a concentrated form to allow your body to heal itself. And so you can see PRP is very useful for really any age group. So anywhere from your young athletes to your weekend warriors, we all get injuries. And you'll even see your high-profile athletes such as Tiger Woods have this type of intervention.
Wow.
But it's a way for your body to heal itself.
Wow, well, that's very useful and good information to know. If you'd like more information or to schedule an appointment with Dr. Greer, visit wakemed.org.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Adam Gold.
He takes the hat. It was like somebody who works there was wearing a baseball cap. Takes it off the kid's head and puts it on the hostess station. Just takes the hat off this guy and puts it down.
Excuse you?
Like, that's exactly what I went. Like, excuse me?
Right.
Well, what are you doing?
The Adam Gold Show.
This is the Adam Gold Show. I'm not Adam Gold, obviously. Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam Gold. Victoria Voda-Necker continues to produce, and I try not to do this lightly. I take certain things seriously in sports radio and sports media, which many of you are like, why would you take anything serious in sports media? That's fair, but when you do it for a living, you have to have certain rules, right? A man needs a code.
You got to live by a code.
No easy buckets. Mountain Dew Code Red.
It's delicious.
There used to be a commercial which was it was for Mountain Dew Code Red, and the whole thing was live by the code, and it was no easy buckets, and all that meant was anytime anyone shoots, you have to try to block their shot, and it was just like people were shooting into trash cans and stuff. You run through them. No easy buckets. Live by the code.
Yeah.
Man needs a code, and like must-win game is something I take very seriously. I get frustrated when somebody says must win, and I'm like, or hear me out, it's the 37th regular season game, and if they lose this one, they have 40-plus chances to make it up.
The next one.
Yeah, it's like, I also get frustrated when someone calls like a Game 7 must win, because I'm like, duh, right? Like let's
shocker.
Yeah, let's get somewhere. So must win to me, something with high stakes. Another one is bold predictions. coming up, by the way, if you you can tune in on streams, you can tune in on YouTube, or if you're in kind of our immediate area around the studio, if you tune into 99.9 The Fan, we do real bold predictions every Friday on The Drive, my show, every afternoon from 3 to 6, where we have a checks and balances, right? Which means if you make a bold prediction and it's not bold enough, we have someone there to hammer a buzzer to say that's not bold. Because I got tired of watching these, like every show does bold predictions. I got very, very tired of watching bold prediction, Christian McCaffrey is going to run for 40 yards. And I'm like,
yeah, oh, Christian's going to be amazing.
and then they come in the next day like, bold predictions, nailed it,
yeah.
Celebration,
Look
fire.
how awesome I am.
And I'm going, that's not bold.
Yeah, you're using a bonus bet. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Stop.
So there's certain things that I'm very protective of that, you know, most people in regular life are not. One of them is like panic alarm, right? I get very annoyed when fan bases or media personnel are like, you know, time to sound the panic alarm, and I'm going like, would have been a great example. After the first month of the season for the Canes, they weren't playing great.
No.
Power play wasn't playing great. There was a mid-December players-only meeting that changed everything around. And when people were hammering the panic alarm, time to sound the panic alarm for the Canes, I was going like, or hear me out. This is a team that had made the postseason every year for the past half decade. They have a coach you trust. They have good veterans. Probably going to figure it out, right? And we have a whole Canes confidence meter that we do, and it never fell below like pretty darn confident.
Yeah.
I do think it's time to sound the panic alarm, knowing that I take this seriously now. I feel like I've just proven my bona fides.
Right.
I think it's time to sound the panic alarm on the Canes GM search.
Uh-oh. Okay.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks plus now. It was the morning of Friday 2 weeks ago that Don Waddell resigned, or it became public that he was resigning his position as the GM. That's enough time to find your guy. And I hear all the arguments why it shouldn't be. Right? Oh, it's actually a decision-making core. There's 4 or 5 people involved, and the GM isn't the final decision-maker with the Canes. It's a non-traditional hierarchy. Like, I hear it. I do. I feel like I just went, Chris Farley as the motivational speaker?
Oh, yeah.
They say I'm not a smart man.
Exactly.
I understand it's not a traditional hierarchy.
I've got a tight jacket somewhere if you want to wear that next time.
Fat guy in a little coat?
Yeah.
That's a joke you can't make anymore. The question isn't about do they need a GM. The question isn't about can they make do without a GM during things like the NHL Combine, which are going on now. It's not about that. The question is, what's the reason to not find your guy? Yeah. What do you think is going to change in the weeks to come? Why not? The question is less about why, and it's more about why not. Can anyone give me a good reason that a search for the next GM of the Carolina Hurricanes should take more than 2 weeks?
Yeah. I can't imagine people aren't applying.
Or even if you request somebody and they're like, yeah, maybe I'll talk to you in mid-June, you don't want that one.
No.
The Canes are more attractive than that. You got to have a little bit more self-confidence than that.
Sorry, I got to go to Myrtle Beach for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
no.
I got a golf trip with my college buddies. Maybe we can catch up after that.
Right.
Especially because they knew Don Waddell's contract was up. So even if you're like, oh, Don's coming back, you still, when the contract, you need to have some like list in your desk in a drawer that no one opens that just has names of people you'd be interested in.
Just in case.
The Combine is going on this week. Most of the test taking, the bike sprints and all that going on tomorrow. I don't know if you need a GM, but I think you'd like to have one. The NHL draft is 21 days from now.
Yeah, it is.
Carolina Hurricanes have the 27th pick. The Canes need a hockey guy. The Canes need a hockey guy. They need a connections guy. Because I'll even acknowledge this. Let's go full Knights of the Round Table, right? The Canes have a Knights of the Round Table that makes their decision. It's not one all-knowing, all-powerful GM that gets to decide who to draft. They have the assistant GM, now interim GM, Eric Tulsky. They have, obviously, the owner, Tom Dundon. They have scouts. Say they go full Knights of the Round Table. They all have a role. Who's filling Don Waddell's role? It was a big deal when Don Waddell announced his resignation. It was a big deal. You can't say Don Waddell leaving is a big deal and then not say finding his replacement is a big deal, because there's a role that needs to be filled there. He is the connections guy, at minimum. Don Waddell's been in the league for 3 decades.
Mm-hmm.
He's been at the combine. He's shared the drinks. He's hung out. He's probably been to Myrtle Beach with a couple of them.
Probably has.
I can't confirm that, but hey, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Not a bold prediction, as you like to say.
Yeah, exactly. Not a bold prediction. What I like to say about Don Waddell is I believe he's like a cool reporter. And what I mean by that is when you're talking to a cool reporter as like a player or a coach, you know they're not going to burn you, right? You misspeak a little bit, they're going to say, "Are you sure that's what you meant?" Or before they run the story, they'll double back, they'll check with your coach, like, "Hey." Or, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad reporting to go with it, but it's like the cool reporter's like, "Did you know we were on the record there?" Because it seemed like you were talking like there's kind of little elements. If you're talking with Don Waddell about the Canes, you're not thinking like, oh, he's going to run to Tom Dundon and tell everything that you just said, right? If an agent is talking to Waddell, is Dundon really going to rake me over the coals on this contract? Because I just don't want to go the full 9 yards with him. Like, can you just get him to this number and we'll make it work? Don Waddell's not going to run to Tom and be like, he said you're going to rake him over the coals.
Right.
Like, you need that guy. Eric Tulsky is, by all accounts, a very, very smart guy. Darn near genius, right? He's got the advanced degrees. He's gone to the good schools. He's good with the spreadsheets. I'm not sure I would be like, that guy's the cool person who's not like, feels a little bit like if you're talking to him, you're talking to like the coach's son, right? Like, we're not going to complain about the play calling to the coach's son.
Go grab some beers and chat things over.
You need that guy. Who's filling that role? And you've had 2 weeks to find it. And if you have a more unique GM role than others, it should be easier to find the guy, right? Let's look at it as NFL running back by committee.
Yeah.
If you had the one traditional GM, think of that as like a bell cow back. You're going to put him out there on first down, you're going to put him out there on second down, and he's going to catch passes on third down. If you go, no, we're going GM by committee, well, you don't need the guy that can do all three. You just need the guy that can catch passes on third down.
It's less pressure.
It's easier to find, right? It's you don't need to go find Bijan Robinson. You can go find Danny Woodhead. You can go find for State fans, someone like Nyheim Hines. You can go find somebody that can catch passes out of the backfield, be a third down back. That should be easier. There's more of those. They're less expensive. We all wish guys like Nyheim Hines got paid more, but running backs that are special, it just doesn't happen. By the way, Tom Dundon, probably, did you say pay less? Probably perked up his ears a little bit. He said, okay, I see what's going on here.
I like what you're doing.
Make it happen, Captain.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show will continue coming up next with one-timers. That's where Victoria gets to throw some things at me. I'm looking forward to it because as I sit here on the Adam Gold Show, I want to hammer home some one-timers. Stick around.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Did you know Medicare fraud is costing us $68 billion a year? The NC Department of Insurance Senior Medical Patrol Program's goal is to reduce Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. If you suspect any billing or Medicare fraud issues, we're here to help. Contact SMP today at ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Avant Articulated Loaders for the right equipment to help get your work done. Avant makes the most multifunctional loaders in the world. Whether you're a landscaping pro or homeowner serious about property maintenance, you need an Avant loader. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized Avant dealer for sales, service, part, and rentals. Visit one of our 7 locations or actce.com for more details about Avant Articulated Loaders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
Virtual healthcare is changing the way that traditional medicine is being delivered. Ironically, treating some people from afar is actually increasing access to medical health. Dr. Matt Anderson is with Charlotte-based Advocate Health, a member of the North Carolina Healthcare Association. He says telehealth is enhancing the ability of doctors and nurses to treat more people in better ways.
What we've really tried to do is build out that infrastructure from a virtual standpoint to enable us to better impact the health of our communities in a more convenient, simple, and easy way.
Learn how telehealth methodologies are not only saving people money, but how virtual medicine is transforming lives and the health of our communities. I'm Christine Bellino. Join me and my guest, Dr. Matt Anderson, for the latest edition of Conversations on the State of Healthcare, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association. And for more information, listen to our podcast on the North Carolina News Network and visit nchealthcare.org.
Think it's too pricey to pursue your interest and earn a degree? Well, if you're a North Carolinian from a household making $80,000 or less, think again. The Next NC Scholarship could cover more than half, if not all, of your tuition and fees at any NC community college or public university. This is money that doesn't have to be repaid. The Next NC Scholarship helps you know what you're getting because it combines federal and state-funded financial aid to form a new, simplified award. We're talking at least $3,000 for community college or $5,000 for a public university, making the cost of education more manageable. The Next NC Scholarship also helps you know where you're going because you could see how much you could get to pay for the schools you're interested in. So picking the right path for you in your future is now easier than ever. Applying is as simple as filling out the FAFSA. Dig into the details at nextncscholarship.org. The Next NC Scholarship. Know what you're getting, know where you're going.
Elder Abuse Awareness Day is in June, and scams and fraud that target older adults is one of the worst forms of abuse. Learn how to identify, prevent, and report scams with the AARP Fraud Watch Minutes, available for you to view on YouTube. Search AARP North Carolina Minute and look for the AARP North Carolina Fraud Watch Minutes on YouTube. Learn more about this topic and others each week on AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
From the mountains to the coast, 2.5 million North Carolinians are members of an electric cooperative. Every day, this network of 26 electric co-ops is working together with local members like you to power a brighter future through innovative energy technologies, community support, and enhanced grid reliability. Learn more about our brighter future vision at ncelectriccooperatives.com. North Carolina's electric cooperatives, powering a brighter future.
This is Adam Gold.
North Carolinians wagered $659,308,541 on sports.
It's a little bit.
Treat it as entertainment only. Just look at it as fun.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly, sitting in for Adam on this Friday. I can update that little clip you just heard from Adam Gold coming into the break. Brian Murphy, WRAL sports investigative reporter, tweeted this out not long ago, 23 minutes ago. In less than 3 months since the launch of legalized sports betting, North Carolina has bet more than $1.52 billion in real money wagers. And here's the best part. They've been paid out $1.587 billion in winnings.
Wow, look at us go.
So we're up $0.067 billion.
Look at that.
Some of those wins did come from promo bets.
Yeah.
So we needed the extra promos to get positive, but we're making money, North Carolina.
We'll take it.
We're making money.
Except when those bonus bets go out, and then you're like, no.
Not all of us are making money.
Not
As
all.
a unit,
yes.
we're making money.
Right.
Some is better than the parts. It's time for one-timers here on the Adam Gold Show. Victoria, I believe this is where you take over.
Yes. So, I like to, you know what, we're going to dabble in all kinds of departments here.
Looking forward to it. I'm on my toes.
Okay. First off, let's do some NBA. In your opinion, why should Dan Hurley, or should he not, take the Lakers' position?
Okay. There's two sides to this. Dan Hurley should take the position because I believe it's going to come with about a 3x his salary. And let's just call a spade, right? The purpose of your job in a lot of ways is to make money. Now, if he gets offered $15 million a year by the Lakers and he's making $5 from UConn, That's not him like abandoning UConn. That's him doing everything that most of us would do, which is like taking a promotion. Like when it's offered, accepting a promotion. So from a lifestyle perspective, go ahead. I don't think the Lakers should offer it to him. We'll talk about this more later on. To me, he seems like, if you look up college basketball coach, like in the dictionary, you're going to see a picture of him like with his eyes wide open, screaming at someone, and those thick-rimmed glasses on, and he's in like a defensive stance on the sideline. He's not playing; he's a coach, and he's just in it like he's guarding a virtual reality version of the offense they're facing. I don't know how well that's going to play with like a 34-year-old that has $100 million in the bank and like kids and houses and stuff. I don't know if it's going to be as workable. So I don't know if I'd take him with the Lakers, but if I'm him and they offer you $15 million a year over like 6 years, pretty darn tough to turn that down.
Yeah. Well, I asked this next one to Adam yesterday, and I'll do it to you too. So
let's see if we align.
This reminds me of a certain person I am glad that is not in North Carolina anymore. Matt Rule. Could he not just pull another Matt Rule and maybe dabble in it and then just come back to UConn because they'd probably take him? Maybe not UConn. Or somewhere else.
That's we've seen this time and time again at a whole bunch. Matt Rule, Nick Saban. Are you telling me there's a college out there right now that wouldn't be interested in Billy Donovan as their head coach, or Brad Stevens as their head coach? There's always that possibility. If you're a great college coach, you can go on to almost anything and fail miserably, and everyone will still assume you're a great college coach. So yes, there's always that option. Go cash your checks. And if it doesn't go well, oh, darn, I'll have to go coach Texas. Or, oh, man, I'll have to go coach Michigan, which actually could be a move because I'd be a little worried about UConn. Future of college sports, future of everything, NIL, transfer portal. UConn does not have a power conference football team. There's a good chance they get left behind in the next 10 years when the NCAA does whatever big reshuffling that they do. So taking the Laker job with the even if he plans on like, I'll do this for 3-4 years, I'll let NCAA basketball sort itself out, then I'll go back to college basketball with an eye towards somebody that's on better footing. I mean, now you're playing like 3D chess. Everyone else is playing tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, well, both are fun. I do love tic-tac-toe. And so moving on to, staying in the NBA, but legitimate stuff that we know about. Dallas Mavs. Do you feel like they're going to clap back in Game 2, or is Porzingis just going to be the secret weapon that's their doom?
I don't think it's Porzingis. I don't think they win Game 2. The scariest part about the Celtics win for the Mavericks is they won handily, and Jason Tatum didn't play well. Jason Tatum is going to play significantly better than he played in Game 1. That's what scares me, right? Porzingis put up, 21 points?
A lot.
If he has 12, I firmly expect Jason Tatum to make up that difference and then some. So Tatum is the one that scares me. Porzingis is like every finals has a couple, like when the Heat would win, they'd have LeBron, they'd have Dwayne Wade, they'd have Chris Bosh. There'd be like the weird game where Shane Battier hit 6 threes, and it's just like, okay, I mean, I guess. That's probably the Kristaps Porzingis game, right? Like he's not going to now average 25 in the series. It's probably like, remember that game where Kristaps Porzingis had whatever it was, 16 points in the first quarter? The Heat teams had a Mike Miller game where Mike Miller hit like 6 threes and he lost his shoe on one of them, and it's those weird role player games.
It's like when Martinook had a hat trick.
Exactly. It's like that I guess.
Happens.
But it's at the same time, the next game you're like, I bet you Aho's going to play better. They probably don't need Martinook to have a hat trick in every game because, right. I bet you like the stars are going to come out to play. They don't need Kristaps to be an all-star. They need Jason Tatum to be an all-star. And I'm pretty confident he will be. So that's why I don't think they win Game 2. And also it's in Boston. Going on the road to Dallas, I could see Dallas winning 1 or 2 of those next games and kind of evening up the series a bit, but not Game 2.
Okay, well, this is the last NBA one. So if Luka is hurt, we dabbled in this earlier. If he actually is hurt, is that basically going to be a huge mountain for the Mavs to climb then?
Yep. That's not like a knock on the Mavs. If you take the best player off any team, you know who actually I think should be most disappointed if Luka gets hurt? The Celtics. Because they've played a hurt Heat without Jimmy Butler. There was a Brunson who was hurt. The Embiid was hurt before even getting to them. they're dangerously close to getting like that asterisk talk about a championship they win. Just beat them with Luka, and then you can at least say, hey, we played Luka and Kyrie at the end. We had to earn it in the final. So, yes, it's over if Luka doesn't play.
Okay, well, moving on to the Stanley Cup Finals. I love hockey so much, so I'm so excited it's finally coming back this Saturday after like a year off.
Both had way too long of a break, NBA and NHL.
Way too long. So, just a general question. How do you think this series is going to go between the Oilers and the Panthers?
I think it's a bit of finesse versus brawn. I think the Panthers are going to try to beat up Edmonton. I think Edmonton is going to try to run away. And that's what they should do. That's where their skill sets align. I think Florida is the better team. I think Edmonton has the ultimate slingshot for David versus Goliath, which is like Connor McDavid might score every meaningful goal in this game, in this series. So if I'm gambling, we're going to get to our picks later. If I'm gambling, I think I'm going Florida Panthers. But if I'm hoping, I think I'm going like I kind of want to see that, God-making performance from Connor McDavid. He's not a god, but he's more than human. Like I kind of want to
call him McJesus for a reason.
Exactly, like McHercules. I want to see like the demigod come out of him. So yeah, I'd lean Panthers, but that's boring. I'd rather see the more exciting Edmonton win.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited for them. Well, looking at the Canes,
and also goaltender leans Florida, which is again it's boring because it's like another pet peeve. We got a lot of pet peeves I'm airing out today. When you watch like a football game and the color commentator at the beginning of the game goes, "Here are the keys to the game," and then it's always start fast, win the turnover battle, and then it's like, well, yeah, that's football.
It's everywhere.
Did you watch the game? Do you know these teams? Like if you go into a series and you're like, well, they lean goaltending, so that's who I'm going to pick. It's like, well, yeah, we're all aware that goaltender in a postseason series is wildly important, but I guess you do have to say it. So that's another reason why I'm leaning Panthers.
Check that box off.
Let's get one more in here quickly.
I know. So, speaking of the Canes, because we got to talk about our Canes. Now, we don't have a GM, an official one. We have the interim.
Applied.
Yes, we have tag team. So, we'd take a lot less, too, than a regular GM. But if you were the GM, who would you keep on the team and who would you not keep on the tean? I know that's a bold question.
I'm keeping Gensel at a high price, 9+ if he needs it. I'm keeping Jarvis, obviously, long-term deal. Pesci, Shea, sorry, you're gone. Martinook, if you'll take a very, very, very team-friendly deal. I'm trading Kokaniemi if someone will take that salary. Martin Necas, you'd have to give me a lot for it, but I'd probably end up taking a deal. Seems like there's a lot of interest. I'm re-signing Chatty, big Chatfield fan, and there's other smaller free agents that I don't know if I mentioned. Did I miss anyone?
No, I think you've got everyone.
And
but you're the GM.
And then I'm just assuming that all works in the cap.
I don't
know, but I'm fully assuming that we can make that work. The Adam Gold Show on a Friday, getting you ready for the weekend. I'm Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam Gold. That was one-timers. Fun time with it. Coming up next, we talked about Dan Hurley a little bit there. Reportedly, he's meeting with the Lakers today. I'll tell you why this is not the end of college basketball as anyone knows it. Coming up next right here on the Adam Gold Show. Don't go anywhere.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Okay, let me tell you about one of my absolute favorite hangout spots. Hey, it's Victoria Vodnecker, and Norse Brewing Company in Wake Forest is a place you need to check out. There's also Norse Brewing Longhouse in Zebulon, which is just as amazing, but both locations offer mouthwatering Southern food, but with a Scandinavian twist. My personal favorite is the Loaded Beer Cheese Tots with in-house made seltzers. Yes, they make all of their adult beverages in-house right in front of you. Speaking of the setup, you'll be completely immersed in the Viking vibes with the handmade axe door handles, the wooden interior, the calm lighting. And with the weather getting warmer, there's plenty of space to enjoy this one-of-a-kind menu outside. Whether it's brunch, lunch, dinner, or a nightcap, Norse Brewing Company is a place you'll want to visit, and you can bring your pups too. Bring everyone out for trivia night, one of their markets, or you could even plan your next big event there. You can find out all the information about this amazing spot and upcoming events at norsebrewingco.com.
The NBA playoffs are heating up, and so is the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Teams are knocking on the door of the conference finals, and DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered every step of the way. With same-game parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. Don't miss out on the NBA postseason as it winds down. And here's something else to sweeten the deal for new customers. Bet $5 and get $200. That's right, $200 in bonus bets instantly. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD with no spaces and get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball term.
Golfers, Global Golf is home to Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf gear. This week, receive 20% off any pre-owned golf gear purchase of $600 or more. Now is the time to trade in and update your current golf clubs with Global Golf's 15% trade-in bonus. And don't miss getting the perfect gift for Dad with Father's Day around the corner at Global Golf. Located in North Raleigh at 7320 ACC Boulevard. Global Golf, home to the best deals in golf.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of a cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
With over 20 years of generous community support, Wounded Warrior Project has helped post 9/11 veterans and their families with no-cost services, legislative advocacy, and more. And we're just getting started. Visit woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
Thinking of popping the question? Diamonds Direct has an offer you can't miss. This month only, buy a natural diamond engagement ring of 1 carat plus and receive a free natural 1 carat diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. Imagine giving her the ring of her dreams and her wedding gift all at once. No one provides education, selection, and value like Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet from your friends at Diamonds Direct won't last long. Details at diamondsdirect.com. This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
He scores! What a comeback!
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Now, if Danny were to leave and somebody said to me, he just took this NBA job, I won't name any particular city, I would say, you're set up for failure. But it's the Lakers. And I don't know the details of it, but if you're saying, hey, I want a 10-year deal, I want the same deal Brad Stevens got at Boston.
It might be more than that.
Well, Dan, you know what? Hey, Andrea, his wife might not like me, but he's crazy if he doesn't take it.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show.
You are listening to The Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly, filling in for Adam today. He got a jump start on the weekend. And that you just heard was Gino Auriemma, the women's basketball coach at UConn, talking with Dan Patrick on the Dan Patrick Show about Dan Hurley, the UConn men's basketball coach.
Stay with us.
Who is reportedly the target of the Lakers to be their next head basketball coach. And if you listen to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, they're willing to break the bank for Dan Hurley. Big money. I'm done with the And by the way, this news broke yesterday. So for me to be done with part of the narrative already, you know how, like, what I do for a living is consume sports. So you know there was a lot of it. I'm done with the narrative that somehow this, if he takes the Lakers job, is an indictment on college sports or on college basketball or an indictment on how the entire college game is changed. Oh, every coach is running away from transfer portals and NIL, and oh no, I'm done with that. Here's why. First of all, it's not true. Did Billy Donovan, after he won 2 titles with Florida and then went to the NBA, was he running away from the transfer portal and NIL that didn't exist at the time? When Brad Stevens ran away from Butler, where he had taken them to Final Fours and developed Gordon Hayward and went to the NBA, was he running away from the portal and NIL, which didn't exist at that point in time? We can go back further. Rick Pitino, John Calipari. We can go back further. Larry Brown, 1988. Which, by the way, Carolina basketball fans out there, meaning UNC basketball fans, if Larry Brown didn't do exactly what Dan Hurley might be doing, if he didn't win a national championship in 1988 at Kansas and immediately jump to the NBA, guess who North Carolina might not have? Roy Williams. Because guess who replaced Larry Brown at Kansas? Roy Williams. It's been happening forever. Do you know why? Because recruiting is annoying, right? If you're a fully grown, like, adult professional that has worked very hard to get to where you've gotten in your career, it's probably not super fun to cater to 16-year-olds, to pretend like you like their music, to pretend like when you're in their living rooms and an at-home visit that their parents cook well. Oh, your mama knows how to cook, right? That's the down-home charm of guys like Roy Williams. Guess what? Every parent probably doesn't cook well. You probably had to eat some burnt food and pretend. And if you jump to the NBA, you don't have to deal with that. If you jump to the NBA, you're on charter flights and you're eating at 5-star restaurants. They're meeting today, meaning Dan Hurley and the Lakers are meeting today reportedly to talk about the job. Let's hear from Dan Hurley back on about a couple months ago on what he would consider leaving UConn. Would he consider leaving UConn for a better job?
If I had any interest in leaving here, whatsoever, I would probably just not be doing any media because I know you're going to ask that question.
Right.
If I had an interest in any other job, I'd be hiding right now. And I'm going to be here. I love being here. I've got the job that fits me, the absolute best. UConn, Dave Benedict, the AD, and the school, they're going to reward us, and then, I think they're going to continue to provide us with the resources, to keep going for these things here. So I'm going to be going for these things here.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
The funny part is he's like, I wouldn't be doing media. Guess what he hasn't done since the Lakers
Right.
rumors started?
Media.
Hasn't done any media. So maybe there's some hiding going on there. But I look at this a few different ways. It's a promotion. Most people would take if offered a promotion. If somebody approaches you and says, hey, I can offer you a bunch more money. According to Spotrac is a website that tracks all of the contracts. You can go look at your favorite NFL, NBA, NHL team. All the contracts are there, the terms, who has a no-trade clause, how much is guaranteed, how much is not. Spotrac put out a tweet on a couple of notes about Danny Hurley. He signed a 6-year, $32.1 million extension with UConn last summer. A lot of money. He must pay $1.875 million in a fee to UConn to leave for an NBA job. That's a lot of money. He was reportedly offered $10 to $12 million per year from Kentucky that he turned down. That's a 2 times pay raise. Top NBA head coaches reportedly earn between $14 and $17 million per year. And if the Lakers report from Adrian Wojnarowski is they are willing to pay top dollar, you'd expect that, 14 to 17 the range, not to be 14, right? So you're looking at 15, 16, 17 million dollars. This has nothing to do with college basketball. We meaning me and my family, live right in the middle of what I consider the mecca of college basketball, right? It is right in the triangle. There's Duke, Carolina, there's State, there's Wake Forest not far away. You guys know the state we live in. Like, we are aware, we see college basketball up close and personal. There is nothing that makes me think a coach leaving for big money is the sign of the end of times or any sport as we know it. If you go watch a college basketball game, right? Let's say there's a sweet Tuesday non-conference game and you just go watch. You wouldn't know that the players are getting paid NIL money. Right? Why does it affect you at all if the shooting guard gets to live off campus in a 2-bedroom apartment because he had $100,000 in NIL rather than living in the dorms? Why does that matter to you at all? Coaches have to make calls. Coaches always had to make calls. They used to fundraise to raise money in order to build bigger locker rooms and put better LED lights under the locker rooms and have better players' lounges. Clemson football has a wiffle ball field and a slide in their locker room. Coaches have always had reasons to ask for money. Now they're just asking for money to go to players. Why would you think that's more or less work? They're still calling the same rich people and asking for the same big checks. And guess what? If they leave, it's the same reason. That's what I would do if I were Dan Hurley. If I left for UConn, if I left for the Lakers, the first thing I would do is say, and oh, by the way, it's a big pay raise for me. I'm giving $1 million a year to UConn's NIL collective. How's UConn going to be mad at him for leaving then?
They wouldn't.
And he would still be clearing about 3 times as much money as he has in the past.
Yeah.
Right? I'm making $5 million now. I'm going to go make $16 or $17 million from the Lakers. I'm going to take $1 million of that, give it back to UConn's NIL collective. You'll win more championships. I'll take the credit there. Hopefully we win some more championships with the Lakers. I'll take the credit there. I'm going to be the first guy to win championships in college and pro at the same time.
He'll have a plaque at UConn.
Of course, he should already. He won 2 back-to-back national
He
championships.
should.
The more interesting part I look at it is the ripple effects, and they could hit here in Carolina as well. Coaching trickle-down. I don't know if UConn can reach out and take any coach they want because they don't have a football team in a Power 5 conference, and who knows what their financial future looks like. But they have won like 5 national championships in the last 20 years or whatever it is. So maybe they take a coach, then that place needs to take a coach, and that place needs to take a coach, and maybe someone grabs a Duke or a UNC assistant. Maybe somebody like Kevin Keats, fresh off a Final Four run at NC State, is looking kind of good to maybe not UConn, but whoever UConn poaches their coach from. The players hitting the portal. This is why the portal is crazy. If UConn loses their coach, June whatever, for 30 days, UConn players can go in the portal. No one else in the country can go in the portal unless their coach left. Right? The portal window is closed, but you get a 30-day window right after your coach leaves. If I'm UNC, and I'm like, you know what? We wanted to get a big man in this portal cycle, but we missed out. Heck, maybe the number 1 team in the preseason just has everyone available. Let's go get one of their big guys. I'd be very interested in that. Other schools should be waiting on UConn to take their kind of plan in motion, right? You need to plan for everything. We do it. We just the other day here in our studio, in our station, we had a meeting and we did, all right, major coach leaves today at 9. What do? And it was, we get this podcast out. We run to the studio. These 2 people get here. We need content on social media. Like, we do it. Coaches or schools should do it as well. UConn, if Dan Hurley leaves, go. All right, we call this guy. We call this coach. This is the next coach. We get this recruiting guy to get our players back.
Yeah, Carolina Hurricanes. Listen to that, too.
GM left.
GM.
What do we do now?
What do we do?
Who do we call? Who's next? But if I'm UNC, if I'm Duke, if I'm Wake, if I'm any of these schools, I'm looking around going, all right, well, let's have a plan in place. Dan Hurley leaves. So-and-so hits the portal. Do we want him? Dan Hurley leaves. So-and-so hits the portal. Who do we reach out to? How do we contact him? What's our pitch? What's our role for him? Can't be over-prepared. It's impossible. You can overthink it. I want to be clear on that. Can't be overprepared. The Adam Gold Show is going to continue coming up next with a report on the Carolina Hurricanes that a GM might be interested in. They don't have one, so we'll be interested in it next. And yes, it involves Jake Gensel. Stick around.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's Men's Health Month. WakeMed Primary Care wants to remind you to schedule your annual checkup. It's important to know your health numbers related to cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight, and BMI before it leads to chronic diseases. Focus on your health and preventing disease by building healthy habits and getting that yearly checkup and those screenings you've been putting off. To schedule your appointment, visit wakemed.org.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows along with no interest for 5 years, plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate. If your inefficient windows are costing you too much for air conditioning, that's a big deal. Now during Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you can replace them and save a big deal too. Offer ends June 30th, so schedule your in-home estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Glad to finally have you over. What do you think?
You could install a bay window to let in more natural light over there.
Huh?
Sorry.
Sorry, it's just that I saved hundreds on my Navy Federal Credit Union home equity loan. Now I see potential home improvement projects everywhere.
Learn more about how our home equity loans with no closing costs can help you get more from your home base at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender membership required. Loan subject to change.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's bow time." So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by July 31st, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
This is Adam Gold.
Please let the coach and GM pick this year.
Right.
And they put this on the sign outside of the restaurant, and I guess David Tepper actually went inside this restaurant.
Do you know that there is security video of that visit?
Wow.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly sitting in for Adam today. Thanks for not really getting your weekend started with us if you're working the traditional 9 to 5. But let's be real.
Yeah.
Maybe you're getting your weekend started with us.
Even if you are still working.
On their
I've
way
been
somewhere.
there too. That's why I call it a Friday. I always do that. Adam hates it, but I do it more.
Friday?
Yes.
Who doesn't like a Friday?
I know. I know.
It's I mean, this is where you need there's the Memorial golf again, Adam thing going on. You need something to distract you down the stretch. Right?
Oh yeah.
Even if you're getting some work done.
Oh, he
you
was
need a little
distracted yesterday with the soccer stuff. So yeah, he's totally living it up now.
There's a lot of soccer stuff going on in the area.
Soccer stuff.
With not non-soccer players in some respects.
A lot of non-soccer
I've been watching
players.
some of the clips. J.J. Watt playing at the soccer tournament over there in Cary.
Huge.
Heavy-footed. Heavy-footed. It's
with this heat, I'd be heavy-footed too.
He looks like, and this is a compliment, J.J. Watt is an unbelievable athlete. He's one of the best defensive players to ever play in the NFL. He looks like an NFL player playing soccer.
It does. Yep, he does.
It's not one of Ocho Cinco's out there. At times, he looks like a soccer player playing soccer.
Mm-hmm.
J.J. Watt looks like, it's very like high school PE thing.
Oh yeah.
When you have like the wrestler trying to play basketball, and you're like, oh, you're playing a wrestling version of basketball.
You're just doing something different.
Yeah, it's the football player playing basketball in PE. It's like, you know what? You're just running people over. You're not allowed to block.
You're out of place, sir.
You do a little bit. But still, he's an unbelievable athlete, and I don't don't want that smoke at all. So way to go, JJ.
I know. It's weird to see him without pads.
Sometimes it looks like he has pads anyway. Big dude.
I know.
Big dude. Let's talk a little Canes. Not a big dude. Jake Gensel.
Yeah.
Talented, skilled dude. But not the biggest guy in the world. Elliot Friedman, Sportsnet, covers the entire NHL, puts out a podcast. I will say this. Elliot has thank you, first of all, given us a ton of content. I do think he's found a sweet spot where he knows that Canes fans are thirsting for off-season news.
Big time. What
is this roster going to look like? Will so-and-so be back? Will a trade happen? And I think part of it, he just knows and I'm not saying he's like making stuff up. I'm saying like if he reports what he knows about the Canes, that's going to be consumed. So every time he puts out a podcast, every time he puts out one of his 32 thoughts, it's like, yep, there's going to be something Canes in there that is juicy enough. And I know 32 thoughts, there's something for every team, but it just seems like he's found a sweet spot with the Canes. We're thirsting for it right now. And most recently, he has an update on the Jake Gensel free agency situation. We'll hear from Elliot. This is part of his podcast right here. Then I'll break it down after.
Carolina's let everybody know that if you want to trade for his rights, for the chance to sign him, that it's possible for a mid-round pick.
A lot of teams lined up on that one.
I'm sure there's a ton of interest. I mean, you've just got to know. Do you think you're going to get him?
What are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And I say that with the utmost respect. What is going on? Because I look at what the Canes have, and for those of you that are like, wait a second, if he's going to be a free agent, how in the world would you trade him for a mid-round pick? The Canes, as the team that hold his rights and he played for this year, have two major advantages. One of them is they can negotiate with him before July. Everyone else has to wait to negotiate until July. And the second is they can offer a contract up to 8 years. Everybody else can only offer a contract up to 7 years, which he's going to get the max because he's a very good player and he's, 29, 30 years old, and his game will age well. Why would you give up that advantage? Why would you let everybody else, like right now, one of the only ways you can get Jake Gensel for a hair cheaper than you might is by saying, we're the only people that can give you an 8-year contract. So if someone else offers, say, $10 million a year per year over 7 years, you can say, listen, we'll give you 9.5 per year over 8 years. That way you're getting a little bit less per year, a little bit more cap to spend each year. I don't know how important this is, but it feels like it should be important. You don't have to pay him more than Sebastian Aho, which just seems like it keeps the planets in alignment.
Right.
And the way you do that is by saying, we can give you the 8th year and no one else can.
I feel like the only roadblock is Tom Dundon, though, because he feels like the 30-plus is just older or even higher 20s. It just seems like he doesn't want to sign them for long term.
Which is probably true.
Right.
Which is probably why they're making this move,
Right.
which is we traded for Jake Gensel at the trade deadline with absolutely no plans of extending him long term. Despite the fact that he had a billion points, despite the fact that he was one of the best performers in the postseason, despite the fact that he did for that lineup what you wanted him to do, that hasn't changed. And by accepting a mid-round pick, which is a fourth round pick, to just let someone else take your advantages with Jake Gensel and use them, I don't get it. And I do think maybe there's and we talked about this with the Oilers earlier as far as something they can learn. I think there might be like an internal belief that it's either Gensel or Jarvis, right? Because they're both going to be long-term deals. They're both going to be expensive. They're both wingers. Like there's something similar there that you can't afford both. You got to pick one, of which it's an easy decision because one of them's 22 years old and you're invested in him and fans already love him and he plays through injuries for you. And one guy, is probably still living in a hotel. Like it's Jarvis. If you have to pick, I don't think you have to pick.
No.
What is the point of having a strong farm system? And they do, right? The Felix Unger-Sorum surprised everybody last preseason. Nikishin's going to come from Russia at some point. They have guys like Scott Morrow that they can bring up. Everyone seems pleased with Bradley Nadeau, their first-round pick from last year. What's the point of having a strong farm system if you can't build your NHL guys top-heavy and then fill in the rest with these young guys that you've done well with, you've drafted well? I want to say this with my chest, right? Say it loud. I'm on the Adam Gold Show, and I know he has such an imprint in the hockey world, and I know so many people tune into the Adam Gold Show to hear Adam's thoughts on the Canes. I'll throw this out there. I'm done worrying about the fourth line.
Yeah.
And I'm near done worrying about the third pairing of defensemen. For now. Figure it out later. This is one of those situations where I think you need to separate yourself from your future you. You ever hit that one on a Saturday? You have certain chores you need to do by the end of the weekend, and on Saturday you're like, that's a Sunday me problem.
Yeah,
I know the lawn has to get mowed this weekend.
Keep pushing that off.
Yeah, that's a Sunday afternoon me problem.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sunday afternoon you is like, man, really? This is hard.
Is it going to rain? Okay, never mind then.
or even worse, right? Is it going to be 104 degrees, but bone dry, and I get to go out there and mow anyway? I think the Canes kind of have to do a little bit of that. Like, June me wants to sign Jake Gensel and Seth Jarvis. Who's going to be our fourth line? That's like an August me problem. Like we'll figure it's going to stink. You're going to have to cut some corners, but I know that I'll have two great lines that can make up for a fourth line. And once you get to the postseason, play the fourth line 6 minutes. Like who cares?
Maybe we'll have a GM by then.
Probably not. Or like third pair defensemen. It's like, you know what? Have Slavin double shift. Like Chatfield doesn't get tired. You're paying Orlov $7.5 million. Like have those guys carry more of the weight, and you might get lucky. All right, Scott Morrow might be a guy you trust playing a ton of minutes. Maybe you get Nikishin from Russia. Again, Don Waddell before he left said he wasn't completely shutting that door. Maybe the next GM can open the door. Like you're voluntarily moving on from Jake Gensel. Put up a fight. Worst case scenario, right? Because if you take a mid-round pick for Gensel, his rights go to Chicago or whoever. He's gone, right? He's gone, and you walked him out the door, and you said, "Hey, it was real." Gave him a fist bump and send him on his way. If you try to fight, if you try to scrap, if you try to use every advantage you have, the 8th year, you try to work with his agent, you try to sell him on maybe you take $9.25 million per year because you might win cups here, and in Chicago you're going to be waiting for hopefully maybe Bedard and you can build something. Like you go down with a fight. The only difference between giving up now and going down with a fight is you don't have a fourth, you don't have a mid-round pick on a team who already drafts well and probably doesn't need a 4th-round pick.
Yeah.
Other than like you just made the agreement again with the AHL team and you need someone to play there. Like that's not a priority for me. Stack the top two lines. Forwards, stack the top two pairings, defensemen, and let the rest be future use problem, right?
Yeah.
Like just enjoy it in June.
I would rather have the question marks there than where Jake is.
Exactly, and especially Tavo.
Yeah.
Martin Necas obviously isn't on super solid footing.
Yeah.
You're looking at the top two lines and going, there's some big gaps here. Now, obviously, if depending on what happens with those three, you might have a ton of cap to go solve it with. But, I mean, best case scenario, you get someone like Jake Gensel.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that's, you trade someone away for picks, and then you're like, best case scenario is you draft a guy who is as good as the one you just traded for picks, right?
Yeah.
It's like you
get the Zach Hymans.
Yeah, it's like that's best case scenario. Or you can just keep the guy that's already that. Let's jump to some Panthers stuff here before I get too frustrated.
Oh, man, that's not a good
Hey, it's off season. The later you get in the off season, the more optimism just grows.
Sorry,
right?
as a Panther fan, I'm like, ooh, we're going the wrong direction.
Yeah, what we need to talk about is Frank Reich. That's what's going to get our optimism up. Actually, you know who would get your optimism up?
Dave Canales.
Dave Canales.
Yes,
100%.
All day, every day.
Do you know what situation I think Dave Canales would be like MVP in? A delayed flight.
Oh yeah.
If you have like 6 people like work, you're not best friends. It's not family. You have 6 people who kind of know each other, and you get delayed for 2.5 hours. I feel like Dave Canales is MVP of that situation.
Yes. I need him on the side of the road when there's a construction site and I'm sitting there for 20 minutes.
He's just good energy, right?
Yes.
He's just good energy. Which is valuable. I'm not I kind of tease him for it because it's hilarious. We have a clip that we play on our show of him saying, I'm so ready to play football. And it was April 16th or something when he said it. And you're like, man, no, all right, a little early. You got some time to get ready.
You got to start early.
You can shut down the engines for a little bit. But let's look at J.C. Horn. Talking of somebody who might need some optimism. J.C. Horn, there's a conversation that's happening now, and I think it's intentional. You see this during all of postseason, or the offseason. OTAs, mandatory mini camps. It's almost like the team has a like talking point where it's like, hey, this week when you're talking to the media, Bryce Young's leadership, and then everybody goes out there and talks about how great of a leader Bryce Young is, or Xavier Legette's development, and then everyone's out there like he's becoming a great route runner. This week, and I have proof here, it's a J.C. Horn thing. It's a J.C. Horn optimism. He's healthy. That's the talking point. That's the story they're trying to sell from the Carolina Panthers. ESPN, I read this headline. Panthers J.C. Horn healthy, ready to shine in 2024, ? Charlotte Observer, this headline. Panthers star DB J.C. Horn is, quote, in a really good place. That's good news for Carolina. Sports Illustrated, J.C. Horn playing with freedom and urgency during OTAs. All of those articles were written within the last 24 hours.
Okay.
Of where we are right now.
Okay.
That's the message of the day, right? Hey, reinforce everyone that's talking. Reinforce J.C. Horn, healthy, good place, urgent, competitive. Those are the buzzwords. Go out there and make it happen.
I'm glad he's healthy. We haven't had a game yet.
Very true. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. And I read all 3 of the articles, and they're all great articles. And they have, they're well-researched. They have good anecdotes. They have good quotes from coaches and JC himself and all of this. The fact of the matter is this. The J.C. Horn season, the preview article, should be 2 sentences. And I know, right now there are writing editors out there. We work in sports media going, 2 sentences? Where's the flowery language? How do you set the scene? I'm going, I'm good with, give me that for everyone else on the team, right? I want to know about Robert Hunt, the free agent guard. Give me tell me how it smells in the locker room and how green the grass is. For J.C. Horn, I want 2 sentences. Here they are. I've written them in front of me. I'll read them for you.
Nice.
If J.C. Horn stays healthy, he is one of the best corners in the NFL. Sentence 1. Sentence 2, the Panthers desperately need him to stay healthy.
Yes.
End of story.
Find the lie.
That's the entire story. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. He's a guy who, when he plays, is great. I'm very excited to watch him play when he's healthy. He does have, and I don't know if I should admit this publicly.
You should.
I grew up a Sixers fan.
Okay, well.
It's Sixers, and actually, speaking of hosting the Adam Gold Show, also a Mets fan.
Oh.
So, tortured childhood.
Well, they're still not doing great.
But J.C. Horn has a little bit of what I call the Joel Embiid disease. And that's not a disease that Joel Embiid has. It's that us fans have watching Joel Embiid, which is every time he falls, we don't breathe until he stands up.
Yeah.
There's just that.
Well.
Oh, good, he's jogging. Oh, good, he's jogging.
Auntie Ranta.
Very similar,
yes.
Right? Every time they're on their back or side or they've fallen forward on their face, you're just like,
oh no, is he getting? Oh, okay.
Okay, he's up. Okay, he's up. J.C. Horn has that. If he dives to make a pass breakup, I'm like, yes. Okay, celebrate. Like that's the it's also with every defensive back now. You go, yes, flag.
Uh-oh.
No penalty. Okay,
yeah,
all right,
good.
now we can celebrate. It doesn't have to be more than J.C. Horn is a very good player that has had every kind of injury. He's had the fluke injuries, right? The weird ones. He gets stepped on. He breaks a bone. He also the injuries that come back a lot. Hamstrings. They go quiet. They don't go away. Like he's had soft tissue. He's had broken bones. He's had upper body, lower body. It doesn't have to be more than that. These articles are showing Dave Canales talking about how excited he is that he's learning that J.C. Horn talks trash. He's like, oh, what I didn't know is at practice, if the defense makes a good play, JC's going to let the whole offense hear about it. And I'm going, it's a nice thing to know.
Right.
It's a good story.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Right. No.
I learned that his position coach still thinks he can be one of the best in the league. I'm like, love the confidence.
Yeah, we'll see.
Love it. He's going back to more of the weightlifting he did at South Carolina. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Didn't get hurt at South Carolina, so I like it.
He did recently say he wants to be more of a leader, which that's great too.
Perfect.
Stay on the field. Healthy.
The story is 2 sentences.
Yeah.
It's when he's healthy, he's really good. The Panthers need him healthy. And that's kind of it. They picked up his 5th-year option. They're dependent upon those 2 sentences.
Mm-hmm.
It's, sometimes there are those kind of eureka moments, or like if there's somebody that has a lot going on behind the scenes. If we're talking in a division rival of the Panthers, if we're talking about the Falcons, I do kind of want to hear what's going on in Kirk Cousins' head, knowing they just drafted a quarterback 8th overall to one day take his job.
Yeah.
Like I think there's some shades of gray there, right? The beat reporters should be saying he's all in on this year. He recognizes his own football mortality. He's talking to this. He's already talked with Penix. He's done this. He's done that. Because that's complicated. It's sociological. It's like a psychology class.
Yeah.
J.C. Horn is not. J.C. Horn is do his arms and legs work? If the answer is yes, overwhelmingly positive response from me. If the answer is no, overwhelmingly negative response from me. And it doesn't matter if he's talking trash during it or not. It doesn't matter if he was lifting in South Carolina or if he was lifting in Charlotte or if he built his own Wisconsin cabin.
Yeah, with Brent Burns.
With Brent Burns. Or one of my favorite social media, the wormholes to go down.
Mm-hmm.
J.J. Watt, who's in the area playing at the soccer tournament.
Yes, heavy-footed.
Heavy-footed. At one point, he told somebody in the media that he like bought a cabin in Wisconsin and was working out there during the off season, and everyone was like, "Whoa, what a dedicated!" Like they imagined like Rocky in Russia
Yes.
with a log on his back running up a snow-covered mountain.
Yes.
And then eventually, someone found like the real estate listing for the cabin and it's like 12,000 square feet. It has like a 30-car garage. It has an indoor basketball court. It's got a theater. I'm like, oh.
He makes his own cheese curds.
Yeah, it's like never mind.
Yeah.
You're not roughing it. You're sleeping at 69.5 degrees because that's what you thought your exact temperature was in your mansion that happens to be looking like it's wood on the outside.
A lot of trees around
You have a chandelier. What are we doing here?
Right.
Like, I don't care if J.C. Horn is working out at J.J. Watt's Wisconsin mansion cabin.
No.
Is he healthy? It's all I care about.
It's the goal.
I don't even know if it's a goal. It might just be like a hope. It might just be.
Yeah, it probably is just a hope now.
It's like, do you stretch before you run? Do you stay hydrated? Do you work out?
Are you doing cryo? All this stuff.
Yeah, are you hot yoga? Like, as long as you're doing all of that, then it's just, play football, and every time you fall down, we're going to go, oh, no, he's back.
Okay,
oh, no, he's up. Yeah, all right, we're good. We're doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing fine. Let's get one more pivot here in this segment. Let's look at college football. College football. How do you feel about this? And by the way, old-timers, and when I say old-timers, it's not an age thing. It's a vibe thing.
Yeah, I get that.
A traditionalist.
Old solar.
If you're somebody who absolutely hates TikTok, if you are
the TikToks,
the TikTok face, if you absolutely hate that kind of stuff, you're going to absolutely hate this.
Okay.
College football, starting this season, according to ESPN, the NCAA will allow commercial sponsor advertisements on football fields for regular season games in all three divisions. NCAA announced yesterday. Which means play-by-play broadcasters could do something like quarterback drop backs to pass. He has a man deep. It's right on the T-Mobile logo. He comes down with it.
Yes, that is exactly how it'll sound.
It's like, he's going to make a fair catch right around the Bojangles logo, and that's where they'll take over on offense. Like, it's going to be on the field. And I can hear everybody going, what? The gridiron? The sacred gridiron?
This is disgusting.
I haven't been this mad since Boise State painted it blue. You can complain about it being a sellout move. You can. But it's not. And it won't affect your Saturdays. I was watching the NBA Finals last night, right? I've said that a few times. Both teams had logos on their jerseys. The Celtics, Bill Russell, the green, the white, the block Celtics. They put a logo on their jersey, and guess what? I have no idea what those logos were.
Nope.
Didn't affect a darn thing about me watching the game. And if the 20-yard line becomes the 20 T-Mobile line, it won't affect anything that I do watching a game either. And guess what? The Celtics and the Mavs got paid for wearing those jerseys. So I'm for it. Good for them. It's becoming more and more apparent that college athletics programs were just leaving money on the table for years because they didn't have to pay players, so they didn't need it. They were just saying, yeah, we could. But why? We got these players playing for free. Who cares? And now that they have to pay the players, right, with that ruling that happened a couple weeks ago that says teams can pay up to around $20 million in revenue sharing to their players, suddenly they're like, oh, we have to operate like a regular business that needs revenue, and we have to pay our workers, so we need to come up with $20 million. And now all of a sudden, yeah, put a sponsorship on the field. Make it the end zone brought to you by Bojangles. They're already doing it on the broadcast, right? We're heading into the right guard red zone or whatever the heck it is.
Exactly.
Why not do it on the field and let the team see some of that cash? And then you get to afford your wide receiver.
Yeah. And if you're in North Carolina, everyone loves bow time. Give out biscuits.
Exactly.
It's a good move.
Yeah. How soon until it's on a jersey or something like that? And everyone's going to get really upset, and then you're going to watch on a Saturday, and it's going to be a rivalry game, and you're going to completely forget and not notice. It's going to fade into the background just like everything else. Everywhere else on the stadium has advertisements.
Yeah. Well, I used this example with Adam, I think earlier this week. We all remember the pandemic and remember the cardboard cutouts of people in the audience.
We do.
Like, yeah, it was weird at first, and then it blended in.
You used to be able to buy a seat to the baseball games, and if a foul ball landed in your seat, they would mail it to you. You weren't there.
Wow.
It was just like, hey, you caught a foul ball.
With your face, your cardboard face.
Yeah, exactly. That's why there's a hole in your shoulder
right,
of your cardboard
We'll
cutout.
just put a patch over it for the next one.
It was a weird time a couple years ago.
It was a weird time.
The Adam Gold Show will continue with the 7th inning stretch, and we'll place our bets coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Virtual healthcare is changing the way that traditional medicine is being delivered. Ironically, treating some people from afar is actually increasing access to medical health. Dr. Matt Anderson is with Charlotte-based Advocate Health, a member of the North Carolina Healthcare Association. He says telehealth is enhancing the ability of doctors and nurses to treat more people in better ways.
What we've really tried to do is build out that infrastructure from a virtual standpoint to enable us to better impact the health of our communities in a more convenient, simple, and easy way.
Learn how telehealth methodologies are not only saving people money, but how virtual medicine is transforming lives and the health of our communities. I'm Christine Bellino. Join me and my guest, Dr. Matt Anderson, for the latest edition of Conversations on the State of Healthcare, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association. And for more information, listen to our podcast on the North Carolina News Network and visit nchealthcare.org.
From the mountains to the coast, 2.5 million North Carolinians are members of an electric cooperative. Every day, this network of 26 electric co-ops is working together with local members like you to power a brighter future through innovative energy technologies, community support, and enhanced grid reliability. Learn more about our brighter future vision at ncelectriccooperatives.com. North Carolina's electric cooperatives, powering a brighter future.
Think it's too pricey to pursue your interest and earn a degree? Well, if you're a North Carolinian from a household making $80,000 or less, think again. The Next NC Scholarship could cover more than half, if not all, of your tuition and fees at any NC community college or public university. This is money that doesn't have to be repaid. The Next NC Scholarship helps you know what you're getting because it combines federal and state-funded financial aid to form a new, simplified award. We're talking at least $3,000 for community college or $5,000 for a public university, making the cost of education more manageable. The Next NC Scholarship also helps you know where you're going, because you could see how much you could get to pay for the schools you're interested in. So picking the right path for you and your future is now easier than ever. Applying is as simple as filling out the FAFSA. Dig into the details at nextncscholarship.org. The Next NC Scholarship. Know what you're getting, know where you're going.
Elder Abuse Awareness Day is in June, and scams and fraud that target older adults is one of the worst forms of abuse. Learn how to identify, prevent, and report scams with the AARP Fraud Watch Minutes, available for you to view on YouTube. Search AARP North Carolina Minute and look for the AARP North Carolina Fraud Watch Minutes on YouTube. Learn more about this topic and others each week on AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
The NBA Finals are here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win alongside the champions, because right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with a winning $5 wager. That's $200 to use on same-game parlays, live betting, and so much more. There's no better place to bet on all the finals action than America's #1 sportsbook. Go to FanDuel.com/AGS to get started. Take a shot at an extra $200 in bonus bets. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and you want to make those games more interesting. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt-putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show on a Friday. I'm Tim Donnelly, sitting in for Adam Gold today as he got a jump start on the weekend. Thanks for joining us. It is time for a little something we call the 7th inning stretch.
Okay, so gosh, there's so many interesting things that I could talk about, but you and I are both pet owners.
We are.
So there's a thing that I don't know if you know this is a thing yet, but it's almost like an Amber Alert for dogs. So the 4th of July, I don't know if your pets like fireworks, and this is when I think this is why they're promoting it, is because that is right around the corner. So it's a free service called Fido Alert. And what it is basically you go online, they make an ID tag. You don't have to put all of your information on any tag. You associate it with the tag that they make for you. They send it out. You put it on their collar, and it's got a QR code that people can scan, and it'll say, like, this is so-and-so's phone number. This is their dog,
Because they tend to run when the fireworks are going on?
Exactly.
Well, first of all, my dog Blitzen hates fireworks.
Yeah.
With a fiery passion.
Right.
Funny story about the tag, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just recently, my wife got one of those. It's like the Apple AirTag, I think it might be called.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you can track it anywhere, right? And she threw one onto his collar.
Okay.
So that way, if he ever does run, he's about to turn 10. Like, he doesn't run away
He's not running a lot.
He could, but he's coming back home when he gets hungry. But she put the tag on him, and the funny part is, like, it's linked to her phone. And it's not linked to mine, which I don't care. Like, if he gets lost, who cares which one of us has it? We'll be able to go get him. But every time I take him for a walk, Apple sends me a notification saying that someone else's AirTag is moving with me. Because I guess it's like a worry of, like, someone throwing an AirTag in your car, and then they can track you.
Right.
So it's saying, like, you should make sure no one's tracking you, because an AirTag, like, you just walked randomly around the neighborhood.
Exactly.
And an AirTag was always right there with you. And it's because it's just on my dog. And I get, like, the stalker warning every single time.
Oh, okay. So is this sketch? Is this cool? No, okay. It's fine. It's all good. So, yeah, that's going to be a thing now. You could do this, too. Be double protected. So, yeah, it's called Fido Alert. You can get this if you have it. Yeah, we both of our dogs have. Well, yours is purebred collie, right?
Border collie.
Mine has a lot. He's got everything. He's got a lot. So, but one of it's collies too, and he did not like the lightning from yesterday. That's for sure.
Yeah, that same thing.
You know what? This brings up the next thing, and people who are under 30 may not like this either. So don't go to Missouri, because there is an upscale Caribbean restaurant called Bliss in Missouri, and they have now made an age restriction where if you're a female, you have to be 30 or over, and a male has to be 35 or over just to get in.
What?
So they do card you, and you will be turned down just like a club if you are 29 and a half. I'm sorry to tell you. The owner says they are getting backlash, but he ain't backing down because it is an upscale place. So he says, quote, Bliss is something for older people. Can we not put 30s and older? Bliss is for older people. Have a happy hour, come get some good food, and you don't have to worry about those young folks who bring some of that drama. This is all what he said.
Young folks that bring drama. I think, you know what? I'm taking a few things away. They are underestimating the old folks' ability to bring drama.
Yeah, to get wild.
Yeah, the drama, that's lifelong for some people.
Have you seen Housewives of Fill in the Blank?
I have not, but I know.
Sure.
I feel like I could. I feel like I know how that story goes.
I've seen enough promos that I'm like, oh, okay, and I'm pretty sure that they will qualify. So yeah, I don't know. They just he said it's a more mature, sophisticated, and safer dining experience.
Is it not
everyone.
Weird that the ladies get to be younger than the men?
Well, we mature faster than you guys.
Okay. All right. I guess that's the way they're looking at it. I was thinking they were looking at it as like a 35-year-old guy is going to want the 30-year-old, or vice versa, right? Like which
could
is just
be
weird.
Well, and you know what? It could also be that typically, not always, but typically women will date older.
Yeah, that's kind of
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's an interesting concept.
Can we do this for other things? Can we do like men's league basketball? Can we get the 25-year-olds that are still in shape out of there?
Yes. You know where I really want that? The gym.
Yeah, it's like
I am so over these clusters of kids. I know, and I feel like I'm yelling at clouds. But every time I go to the
haven't lifted a weight in 6 years, but walk in there and are just like, let's try this.
Yes.
Really, really heavy weight with all the flexibility and range of motion, and it's just like, well,
can you not make
Relax.
a TikTok at the squat rack, please? I'm
Oh, does
so
that happen
over,
at your gym?
Oh my gosh, it's disgusting. I'm just like so over these people. But yeah, I don't know. That's why you shouldn't go to certain places and you should go to others. Now, speaking of a bar that's a little kind of out there, in Chicago, which I will be there this summer
So
to
will
go
I.
see my Cubs.
Or in the fall. I have a wedding.
Oh, not really.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be out there in August. So, in Chicago, there is a place called Noon Whistle Brewing Company.
Noon Whistle Brewing Company.
This brewing company is kind of capitalizing on cicada season, if you want to call it that.
Capitalizing. What? They're finding the silver lining.
What they're doing is they are making a cicada-infused shot, and they are using Chicago's famous, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, Malheur. It's a wormwood liqueur that they say is a citrus-flavored gasoline. None of this sounds good. I don't know. I don't know what this is. But they dump a bunch of dead cicadas in a bottle, and
That's a great first step of the recipe.
and they infuse it with this beverage, this liqueur, wormwood liqueur. Yeah, and they say it is, quote, reminiscent of a succulent lobster. Okay, I don't believe you for 2 seconds.
Reminiscent of a succulent lobster.
I don't believe this isn't like crawfish. Like I don't know.
That's like when you talk about your third string quarterback and you're like, he reminds me of Patrick Mahomes, and we're just like, no,
no, he doesn't.
You're selling us something we're not going to buy.
He's got curly hair too.
This cicada brew reminds us of a succulent lobster. It's like, do you think we were born yesterday?
Yeah, we weren't. We can actually go to this restaurant in Missouri called Bliss, but these cicada shots are going to sell for $5 a pop.
You know what? I bet you the cicada shot place is not eliminating the young people because they're the only ones that are going to do it. It's going to be a bunch of 20-year-old bros like, bro, you take the cicada shot.
You do it. No, I dare you. I double dog dare you. Come on, man. We got to put this on TikTok.
We'll both do it. I'll do it. Why are you volunteering to do it?
I know. It's so-and-so's birthday. Let's everybody get a cicada shot. Yeah, but, maybe we can afford some cicada shots with our bets that we place.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can own it. I owe you one.
All right, we got to pick up the pace here. Do you go first or second? I don't know how this goes.
Either or. You're the visitor, so you can go first
All right.
if you'd like.
Do I go all three or one at a time?
We can go back and forth.
All right. NBA Finals, Game 2. I like Jason Tatum plus 350 to be the leading scorer.
Okay.
I'm a big narrative bettor because
Yeah.
I know that like we can't have more analytics information than the Vegas sports books, but I like to try to look into the brain of an athlete and act like I know that better than they do. Jason Tatum didn't shoot well in Game 1, and it's at home. It's home court. I think he's going to try to put on a show. I think he's going to be the leading scorer, plus 350. Obviously, fading Luka here, so give me Jason Tatum.
Okay. Well, first up, Adam loves when I do this one, but UFC is this weekend. I'm so excited. I did make my video. It'll be on the 99.9 The Fan YouTube page. Did that last night, but I'm going to talk about these fights in depth. First up, Brad Katana versus Jesse Butler. This one, whoa, there's a reason that Brad Katana is a huge favorite. So he was on UFC Ultimate Fighter 31 last season. We just started 32 recently. Jesse is making a huge weight cut, and that is big in this fight. So Brad obviously is the favorite. I think Brad's going to win by the points, probably going to go all three. That is minus 145, but I think that's how that's going to go. So just so you know.
With my second pick, I'm going to try to thread the needle. Kyrie leading scorer after the first quarter in Game 2. For similar reasons. He played terrible. I think he's going to be really aggressive. And Jason Tatum tends to take a little slower. So Jason Tatum leading scorer in the game. Kyrie leading scorer in the first quarter. That's plus 900.
And I'm just going to go to the main event. So it's going to be Jared Cannonier versus Nasruddin Imavov. This is a really close one. It could be a pick-em. Jared, he's awesome, but he's also 11 years older than Imavov. I think Imavov's got a lot to prove, so I'm going to pick Imavov by the points. That's plus 230.
Last one quickly. UNC minus 2.5 runs over West Virginia in the Super Regionals. NC State plus 120 on the money line. Parlaying them for a plus 300 bet. That's just sucking up to the people in the area. There you go. Can you get one in quickly, 10 seconds or less?
Let's go with Eduarda Mora versus Denise Gomez by submission plus 270.
Perfect. That is place your bets. Next up, we have the Wall of Sound here on the Adam Gold Show. Looking forward to it. We have a couple of pretty funny pieces of sound that you just got to hear to believe. That's coming up next. Stick around.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hey, it's Victoria with 99.9 The Fan with a Men's Health Month tip from WakeMed Heart and Vascular. Each year, smoking causes more than 480,000 deaths in the United States. That's nearly 1 in 5 deaths. Those aren't odds you want to play with. Don't put off kicking the habit. In just 1 year after quitting, a person's risk for coronary heart disease decreases by half. Learn more about how you can quit and get started today, plus other ways to care for your heart at wakemed.org.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew, 30 seconds, that's it. Done. Peace.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% on your choice of any 10 or more stock kitchen cabinets and countertops. And there's more. Save up to 25% on drywall gypsum boards when you buy in bulk. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
For the longest time, it was hard for me to even get out of the house. It took me a bit to understand what was going on, but eventually I learned I had anxiety. Now I'm getting help for it.
Mental Health Care is working. See what it can do for you at mentalhealthcareworks.org.
Diamonds Direct has done it again. This month only, get ready for an offer you can't resist. Buy a natural diamond engagement ring of 1 carat plus and receive a free natural 1 carat diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right, a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Imagine giving her the ring of her dreams and her wedding gift all at once. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet will not last long. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
What do you do about car trouble? Call Dad? Why not give him a break this Father's Day and visit AutoZone instead? If it's a battery problem, AutoZone has free battery testing and charging, and battery options as low as $89.99. And right now, you can save at the AutoZone Father's Day sale through June 16th. Give Dad a break and maybe get him something too at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
I'm leaning towards Florida. I believe the West in general is better, as a whole. Edmonton, to their credit, put together this great run through the playoffs, and they're bringing some high-end talent to the table, some capable goaltending. They have a commitment to playing a better defensive game than they ever have, and they played two of their best games of the season during the last series. But I think Florida, they're as balanced, they're as good. They can go at you a variety of different ways. They're really good defensively, and then there's Bobrovsky. So I'm leaning towards Florida.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show on a Friday, heading into our final hour of The Adam Gold Show. I'm Tim Donnelly, filling in for Adam. Victoria Vodenecker continues to produce the show. And with that, 2 o'clock, you know what's coming. It's the Wall of Sound.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
I thought we'd mix it up with some Friday, kind of give ourselves a good laugh. So there's two that that kind of come out of nowhere. Josh Jacobs was on the Greenlight podcast with Chris Long. Josh Jacobs is a running back for the Packers. And what is like Green Bay? They're playing the Eagles in Brazil. Okay, let's set that stage. First week 1, Eagles, Packers, Brazil. Star-studded, all that kind of stuff, expanding the game globally. What do you think of when you think of the Packers? Green and yellow. What do you think of when you think of the Eagles? Green and black and white. What do you think of when you think of Brazil? Green flag, green soccer jerseys.
Yellow, green, yellow.
A lot of green. A lot of green, which is why it's hilarious that Josh Jacobs told this to Chris Long.
I got to ask you, you're going to open the season against my Eagles down in Brazil, man. What are you most excited about?
They said that the part of Brazil we going to, you can't even wear green at.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
They said, I guess something to do with the gangs and stuff.
Oh, dude, I'm not going. I'm not going.
They said we're not going to Rio. We going to. They told us they was like, man, it's one of them places where they probably won't even let us leave.
A full team.
Oh, damn, I'm not going, dude. No.
Eagles and
I was
Green
picturing.
Bay.
Oh, green. That's
Wait,
what
color?
green?
Yeah, what color green?
They probably gonna have armored vehicles following us. I said, bro, why are we out here? Why are we here?
I'm picturing Josh Jacobs hanging out on the beach, right? But it doesn't sound like that kind of trip.
Bro, I was looking forward to it. I'm like, man, it's about to be a fun week. They got telling us all of that. They're like, yeah, nah, it's not gonna be like that. I'm like, yeah, all right.
All right, so cancel that trip. All
Right.
right, we good.
Glad we got the inside.
So just so I know, what's the color of the other gang?
I have no idea. That's what I asked.
Josh-
Figure that out. Literally the same question I asked. I said, bro, so they was like, man, look, just pack just black and white colors, because they was like, man, when you come out here, we don't want no mishaps. So
That's wild, dude. All right. That's funny.
For the color of the flag, I'm like, the flag is green.
Yeah, I agree. I just have this question. If you can't wear green, why pick those two teams to go to Brazil?
I know.
The Vikings just put out their winter something jerseys. They're all white. White from head to send the Vikings.
Right. Hey, we could go. The Panthers.
I don't know. The teal might be the rival
Exactly.
gang. Send the Raiders. Black, gray. Like what are we doing here? Also, maybe don't send your players to an area where you can't wear a certain color.
Yeah, maybe don't do that.
They said don't wear green. They are the Green Bay Packers.
The greeniest of green. Wow.
I'd be kind of afraid.
Yeah, I know.
So if I accidentally walk out in a green shirt?
What if you have green eyes? You have to wear
Close 'em.
sunglasses?
Close 'em. Go full Mr. Magoo out there just walking around bumping into stuff. Just don't bump into the wrong person.
Exactly.
More Wall of Sound, the Golf Channel. This is one I didn't expect to come our way. Actually, just hear it for yourself. All I'll say is this. The Golf Channel during the BMW Pro-Am thought they were interviewing Vince Young, the former college quarterback from Texas.
Vince Young playing this week, and he's down with Florida.
Played 6 seasons in the NFL, arguably one of the best NCAA quarterbacks of all time at Texas. Picked up golf about 4 years ago. What's the biggest shift you make going from the ultimate team sport to now the ultimate individual sport?
Now, I apologize. You have the wrong person. I'm Everett Sands over at Citadel. So which I'm a football coach. But the thing is, the great thing about golf is I'm not only competing against myself, but I'm competing against everybody else.
This is your first pro-am ever played, and what's the best part of being out here?
Well, being out here is a great thing, and having an opportunity to play with some professional golfers is a intimidating thing, but also a great thing.
Good luck this weekend.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Shout out to Coach Everett Sands for how he handled that.
Whoops.
He is the Citadel's offensive assistant. He is a former NC State running backs coach. They thought he was Vince Young, and I can't emphasize this enough. He does not look like Vince Young.
No, he does not.
Vince, he's not as big as Vince Young. They don't look like each other in the face. That's a hard look by the Golf Channel. And kind of even more hilarious that after he said it's not me, she just powered through the interview and asked a more generic question like, you're not the right person? Well, what's a golf this like? Yes?
What are you having for lunch?
Yeah, just more generic. Yeah. That is a reporter's or a interviewer's worst nightmare. I've heard of for a while in the NFL, there was Brandon Marshall, the wide receiver, and there was Brandon Marshall, the linebacker. They were both starters, both played. I've heard a few times where people thought they were going to be interviewing one Brandon Marshall and the other called in or showed up. That's a little bit more understandable.
Right.
When it's Everett Sands, the assistant football coach from the Citadel, and you throw Vince Young questions at him.
Not quite.
A little bit more difficult. More wall of sound. Chris Canty on Unsportsmanlike, the morning show. He said this about the Lakers hiring Dan Hurley, potentially.
I said this would be a home run hire, and I want to clarify that. This would be a grand slam if the Lakers would be able to land that plane. That is Dan Hurley. This is one of the very best coaches in all of basketball. I don't give a damn what level we're talking about. Now, the question is whether or not his skills will transfer from the collegiate ranks to working with pros. But in this current landscape of NIL, it's kind of like you're working with pro athletes anyway, because these guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. So I look at Dan Hurley as the college basketball version of Jim Harbaugh. And we saw Jim Harbaugh have success at Michigan, but we also saw Jim Harbaugh have success with the San Francisco 49ers. And the Los Angeles Chargers are banking on him being able to duplicate that success that we've seen from him in the past. So I like to believe that great players, regardless of the level of sport, just want a coach that can give them the answers to the test.
Chris Canty, Unsportsmanlike, I simply disagree. To say, oh, how would it work coaching pros? Well, he's coaching college guys that make a couple $100,000, so it's like he's coaching pros. He's being talked about as the Lakers head coach. Let's talk about, this sometimes happens with trading picks in a draft where you're like, oh, I'm going to trade a third rounder for a fourth rounder. I always go, no. Put names on it. Who would you draft in the third round? Who would you draft in the fourth round? Talk about trading the players so it feels more real. Don't just say, oh, well, his college coaching coaching pros. Well, the college guys make money, the pros guys make money, so it's similar. Put names on it. Last year, he coached Donovan Clingan. Donovan Clingan's going to be a lottery pick in the NBA draft. Probably did make a couple $100,000, if not maybe $500,000. The Lakers are LeBron James. It's $600, $700, $800 million in net worth.
Big difference.
It's producing Hollywood movies. It's making $60, $70, $80, $100 million a year. It's Anthony Davis, $40, $50 million a year in salary in addition to whatever Nike or Gatorade or whatever else give them. It's not the same. Somebody's making $300,000. Guess what else they're trying to make? The NBA. Guess who they need that to achieve that goal? Guess who they need? Their college coach. You can yell at college kids. You can scream at college kids. You can talk down upon them. Why? Because they know they need you to play them in games and to talk well to them to scouts so they make the NBA. Guess what LeBron James needs his coach for?
Nothing.
Not a gosh darn thing.
Mm-mm.
Matter of fact, you upset LeBron enough, he'll just do away with you from the coach. Ask the last 10 coaches LeBron has had.
Exactly.
saying out loud, like, oh, this is a grand slam. At best, it's a maybe. Like, even comparing him to let me make sure I get this right. Jim Harbaugh. I always get my Harbaughs confused. Jim Harbaugh is so disingenuous because Jim Harbaugh's already done it. This would be like going to Jim Harbaugh last time, in which case it was a maybe. And Jim Harbaugh wasn't quite Jim Harbaugh at that point in time. We didn't know all the weird stuff. We didn't know the khakis, the full glass of milk at every meal, the sleeping on the floor of a recruit. Like the climbing a tree with a recruit. We didn't know all of that about Jim Harbaugh at the time. So Chris Canty, I simply disagree. It might be a base hit. It might be a home run. It might be a grand slam. But it's not definitively any of those. It might be a strikeout. It might be you get one pitch, you thought it was a ball, it was called a strike, you threw your bat at the ump and get ejected. It could go that poorly. And then you'd also be paying him $15 million a year. The Adam Gold Show will continue with some more insight into the Canes' Martin Necas situation. This situation refuses to cease. It is changing by the day. The latest on Martin Necas potentially being traded from the Canes coming up.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We're jamming your June with championships. The NBA Finals.
The Celtics have finished the sweep. They rally again, and it's on to the NBA Finals.
The Stanley Cup Finals.
Reinhardt scores! The Panthers win Game 4.
The U.S. Open.
Payne Stewart is the 1999 U.S. Open champion. Oh, my.
Catch every winning moment with us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Guys, Marcy Bailey here from Bailey's Fine Jewelry with some diamond advice. Buying an engagement ring doesn't have to be so complicated. We've been doing this since 1948, and we know what women want, a combination of size and quality. And a little hint here, size wins big. We guarantee you can be in and out in under an hour, and she'll love the ring or your money back. It's that easy. Come see why we're voted the best place to buy a diamond. And remember, every woman wants a Bailey box.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
For a limited time at Circle K, get 3 20-ounce ice-cold Mountain Dews for only $5. Only on the Inner Circle app. Do the Dew.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, it's bow time. So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Want to win a trip to the 84th Annual Sturgis Motorcycle Rally and a custom Harley-Davidson performance bagger? The Law Tigers are giving away the ultimate trip of a lifetime. Go to stylinginsturgis.com to enter. Prizes include VIP stay at Glencoe Camping Resort, custom Harley-Davidson built by Lane Splitter Garage, sound system by Rockford Fosgate, turbo from Trask Performance, parts from J&P Cycles, firearms from Magnum Research, jewelry from Anvil's Cash, and bikes from Soul E-Bikes. Go to stylinginsturgis.com to enter today. This is Adam Gold.
It was crazy, too. After the first period, the shots on goal, the Maple Leafs goalie didn't even have to do anything most of the game.
Yeah, Joseph Wall was bored.
Yes.
In the first period.
He was knitting a sweater at one point. I mean,
lovely. A lovely sweater.
He was making syrup. I mean, it was weird.
The Adam Gold Show.
The Adam Gold Show on a Friday. Tim Donnelly here, filling in for Adam. And I'm actually, I was kind of, and this is no knock on Adam, I just thought the comedic poetry of it would have been funny. I was kind of hoping right about now,
oh, yeah,
Martin Necas would have been traded, or the Canes would have hired a GM.
Yep.
Just something that would have been like massive hockey news, because Adam is the premier. He's the pre-post, Canes Corner. Check out all of his Canes content. I lean on him a lot for insider information and everything. But
that would be funny, though.
But it was
the
just
timing.
the comedic poetry, like the comedic timing of it would have been perfect. I was kind of hoping like right now, because I genuinely believe if it would have happened at like 1, this hour might have been hosted by Adam Gold. He might have been like
from Cary Soccer
yeah,
Field.
like I'll be there.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to miss this. But if it happened at like 2:15, I would have had to champion that. But with that being said, to give you a full update on what's going on with Martin Necas, nothing concrete. So I don't have that to wave over the Adam Gold Show and say, haha, when I host, cool stuff happens.
Not even the GM thing.
Not
even if
even-
it wasn't Natchez. Not
Heck,
even the GM.
I would settle for like Martinook's coming back on 1.5, like
Yeah.
$1.5 million a year. I'd take anything. I would, yeah, just literally anything. But we'll make do with what we have. And what we have is Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet talking about the asking price for Martin Necas.
This is not a middling picks and prospects trade. Like, they consider Necas a really good player. And I think there's also, like, they recognize that just because he may not necessarily be built for offense the way that Brind'Amour plays it, they recognize that if he goes somewhere else where he's allowed to rush the puck a bit more, it's a bit more built into the offense, he's going to go to another level.
The Canes want a star return. Canes are working the PR side of this one pretty good. And I'm not knocking them for it, but you got to recognize it, right? It's a host I used to work with called it smoke screen season, which is everyone's throwing up smoke screens. You have to be able to decipher what's legit and what's not. And one of the ways to do that is to always trust actions over words. Always trust actions over leaks, right? Like, oh, did some reporter get a leak from somewhere? Well, what did they do, right? Because sometimes it's, and I'm not saying this with Elliot Friedman on this particular case, but sometimes I'll use NFL just to prove I'm not talking about this specific case. You'll hear a beat reporter say, sources inside the organization believe so-and-so is a massive star, and if, like we're talking about wide receiver, if they're given more targets, could grow into a Pro Bowler. And I'm going like, well, wait a second. If sources within the system actually believed that, why wouldn't you give them more targets? Right? If Martin Necas is a star, if he was allowed to rush the puck more, why wouldn't you let him rush the puck more? Right? If you believe there's an 80-point scorer somewhere inside Martin Necas' ability, you're going like, well, we don't play the way that gets him 80 points. It's, well 25-year-old could potentially be an 80-point score. Play that way.
Right.
The Canes are viewing him as a budding star that would bloom as soon as he gets outside their buildings is a very convenient thing to say when you're trying to trade him. The Canes don't view him as a star, not because of what they've said, because of what they've done. He played second line wing. They played him on the second power play unit. They played him 17 minutes a night. At times was down on their fourth line this year. They don't view him as a star. They don't view him as a budding star. But the way to get the most in a return in a trade or to up the offers that you're hearing, well, this guy's going to be a star as soon as he leaves us. Right? It's one of those weird things where you have to like downplay yourself. You have to go, we're holding him back.
It's not me, it's you.
It's like you're talking to the other teams going, it's not him, it's me.
Yeah.
Right? He's great. We don't know how to use him correctly. And you are so much smarter than us that as soon as he steps in foot onto your ice, he's going to be unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Trust me, we see him in practice. He plays great under you. We don't necessarily need him. That's such a weird thing to sell, but you have to try. Because the other thing, and we heard this, throughout the last week or so, is over 50% of the teams in the NHL have reached out about Martin Necas to the Canes. That's another Elliot Friedman report. Over 50%. This tells me, 17, 18 teams may have reached out, and the Canes didn't like their offers.
Right.
So they're going, well, let's go through our playbook here. Let's see, what do we have? How can we up these offers? Mm-hmm. Well, let's tell everybody that he's a budding star.
Yeah.
Let's try to convince them that we might keep them.
And his dad won't be in his business the whole time.
Actually, that's what I would sell.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a joke. Instead of saying like, oh, he's unbelievable, it's just not in our system, I would sell, oh, he's unbelievable. We want to keep him. He's going to be 75 points. It's in there. His talent is there. You see it. We see it. I can't stand his dad.
Yeah.
That's what I would sell.
Right.
Because that's something superficial enough that they're like, oh, we'll deal with the dad. We'll bring him in. And I would go, he's talking on interviews. He's saying we're not playing him right. He's saying he needs to be in the centerman. We would love to keep him. We'd keep him at wing, but we'd love to keep him but it's the off the ice stuff. Everyone always thinks they can fix the off the ice stuff. Mm-hmm. Every GM's like, oh, I'll manage the dad. Every coach is like, oh, he'll fit in. Our locker room is so strong that'll never happen here. When in actuality, Don Waddell was actually great at handling people, right? So I don't know if you can handle a parent or something better than somebody like Don Waddell was. And you're not going to find a better locker room culture than the Canes.
No.
Right? You see, again, I'll use an NFL example. It used to be like the problem child at every other team would go to like the Patriots, the Seahawks, the Steelers, and everyone would just assume like once they get around that culture, everything's going to be fixed. You don't take somebody from the Patriots and say, back then, now who knows? You don't take someone from the Patriots and say, oh, we need to get him away. Like once we get him here, then everything will be settled. So the Canes are that. The Canes are the good culture. Mm-hmm. The Canes are where you show up and the misfits get knocked in line.
I know. That's kind of what surprised me in the whole thing is you hear about players who would come here just to play for Rod. Mm-hmm. And Necas is like, nope, I'm ready to go.
Necas sees goals.
Yeah.
That's what he sees. He sees power play. He's looking at Aho, and he's saying, if I was in his position, I'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah. And I mean, who doesn't? But you also got to be real with yourself, too.
Well,
I don't know if his dad's just chirping in his ear, kind of making a
there's
false
something to be said
narrative.
for that. The people you surround yourself with definitely apply. But also, it's like, how do you not trust Rod?
Yeah.
Rod doesn't think you're a centerman. Do you know how I know?
Because he said it.
Because you're not a centerman. Yeah. Because he draws up the lineup and you don't play center.
You're not there.
So like you're and by the way, like credit to you, like you never want anyone at the end of their career to have regrets, right? You don't want them to be at the end of a long career, made a bunch of money, and to be sitting there going, I never bet on myself, I never took my shot. But if Rod Brindamore is looking at you saying you can be a great winger, you just have to do X, Y, and Z for us. I'd be very, very hard-pressed to not try to do X, Y, and Z.
Especially if that could lead to a cup.
Especially if that could lead to a cup.
the
And
goal.
you're a contributor. You're a top. If you were a fourth-line guy, fine. You're a top two-line player. Like, you're not power play unit 1, but you're power play unit 2.
Exactly. And guess what? Spencer Martin was thinking, if we get a cup, my name's still going to be on it.
Yaniv Peretz was thinking, if we get a cup, my name's going to be on it.
Yeah.
You played 13 minutes.
Right.
1 shot, 1 save.
Wow.
That's like Field of Dream stuff.
It is.
1 at-bat, no hits. The Adam Gold Show will continue. We have a little rewind coming up. We hit some of the biggest things we've talked about, including the NBA Finals, the Canes, the Panthers, the Oilers. There's so much more. Stick around.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Virtual healthcare is changing the way that traditional medicine is being delivered. Ironically, treating some people from afar is actually increasing access to medical health. Dr. Matt Anderson is with Charlotte-based Advocate Health, a member of the North Carolina Healthcare Association. He says telehealth is enhancing the ability of doctors and nurses to treat more people in better ways.
What we've really tried to do is build out that infrastructure from a virtual standpoint to enable us to better impact the health of our communities in a more convenient, simple, and easy way.
Learn how telehealth methodologies are not only saving people money, but how virtual medicine is transforming lives and the health of our communities. I'm Christine Bellino. Join me and my guest, Dr. Matt Anderson, for the latest edition of Conversations on the State of Healthcare, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association. And for more information, listen to our podcast on the North Carolina News Network and visit nchealthcare.org.
From the mountains to the coast, 2.5 million North Carolinians are members of an electric cooperative. Every day, this network of 26 electric co-ops is working together with local members like you to power a brighter future through innovative energy technologies, community support, and enhanced grid reliability. Learn more about our brighter future vision at ncelectriccooperatives.com. North Carolina's electric cooperatives, powering a brighter future.
Think it's too pricey to pursue your interest and earn a degree? Well, if you're a North Carolinian from a household making $80,000 or less, think again. The Next NC Scholarship could cover more than half, if not all, of your tuition and fees at any NC community college or public university. This is money that doesn't have to be repaid. The Next NC Scholarship helps you know what you're getting because it combines federal and state-funded financial aid to form a new, simplified award. We're talking at least $3,000 for community college or $5,000 for a public university, making the cost of education more manageable. The Next NC Scholarship also helps you know where you're going, because you could see how much you could get to pay for the schools you're interested in. So picking the right path for you and your future is now easier than ever. Applying is as simple as filling out the FAFSA. Dig into the details at nextncscholarship.org. The Next NC Scholarship. Know what you're getting, know where you're going.
Elder Abuse Awareness Day is in June, and scams and fraud that target older adults is one of the worst forms of abuse. Learn how to identify, prevent, and report scams with the AARP Fraud Watch Minutes, available for you to view on YouTube. Search AARP North Carolina Minute and look for the AARP North Carolina Fraud Watch Minutes on YouTube. Learn more about this topic and others each week on AARP Without Limits. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
The NBA Finals are here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win alongside the champions, because right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with a winning $5 wager. That's $200 to use on same-game parlays, live betting, and so much more. There's no better place to bet on all the finals action than America's #1 sportsbook. Go to FanDuel.com/AGS to get started. Take a shot at an extra $200 in bonus bets. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and you want to make those games more interesting. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
This is the Adam Gold Show, and I don't know whether to be complimented or insulted because I'm Tim Donnelly filling in for Adam Gold today. And during that last commercial break, Victoria, who's producing the show, jumped on our little communication microphone here and said, "What song do you want to be the final intro, the final rejoin song for your first time hosting the Adam Gold Show?" And I said, surprise me, whatever you're feeling. And she came with Lil Jon.
I love Little John. It's a good banger.
I don't know whether to be like, are you pigeonholing me in that era?
No. It's just good. You don't like Little John?
I do.
Okay.
Lil Jon is the perfect thing for me to listen to songs and go, we were really listening to this at like middle school dances.
Yes.
And if you actually listen to the songs that we were singing at middle school dances.
Why were we singing those songs at middle school dances?
A lot of things we didn't know. We didn't know what they meant.
I mean, R. Kelly was real popular back then. That was the one. So, yeah. No, I like to, whoever's, filling in for Adam, I always like to do whatever, gets him going and stuff. Because I know Adam, he's a big Steely Dan fan. And
okay.
Billy Joel.
I love Billy Joel.
That's fine. But it's a Friday. And so.
So we went Lil Jon with it.
I like to bring the juice.
Snap your fingers.
Yeah.
It's also, and I think many will recognize this. It's hard to think of Lil Jon without thinking of Dave Chappelle.
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay.
I know, exactly.
Which was, again, like my entire middle school, just quoting the Chappelle Show, looking back, some high-level jokes.
And stuff we can't say on air.
Notice I'm not referencing any of these things that I'm actually talking about.
Literally trying to think of anything.
Like the lyrics that were in the middle school
not that one.
songs that, like, I don't feel comfortable saying them on radio.
Right, yeah.
To the audience members, you either know or you don't.
Yep. And if you don't, just look it up.
That's fine. That's fine. No, you can go through life without knowing.
But
it's not
we
going
also
to affect
do
you.
like this era has Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, so it's
and by the way, the generation before.
Oh yeah.
There's some songs that are about some things that.
Right. Probably shouldn't also be singing when you're
parents get mad
schooler.
at kids. It's like, have you remember what you listened to as a kid?
Exactly.
I have a 3-year-old. I don't even want to know what he's going to be listening to in middle school.
With technology these days too, it's much easier to find those songs that
We were resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
We could find songs. There's actually a documentary that I want to watch about Napster and LimeWire and Kazaa.
That whole generation.
You'd download a song and you'd take hours and hours, and then it would not be the song you wanted to download.
Yeah, Metallica suing people.
Yeah. Still.
I can see the CD.
Let's bring this back to sports. The college football video game's coming out.
It is.
And they're doing all the traditions, right? They have all of the Buffalo running out with Colorado, the Clemson touching the rock. They're doing all of it, but they can't have one of the cooler ones. They don't have Enter Sandman for Virginia Tech, where they're going to be jumping coming out of the tunnel because Metallica won't license them the song.
Wow. Fun little not fun fact.
Metallica is still fighting the fight against people having fun with their music.
They're still doing it.
They're still doing
it. And they're still touring.
Which is probably why.
See them in Chicago.
Oh, look at that. Well, when you see them.
I'm going to tell them.
When you see them, let them know.
Calm down. You've got plenty of money.
Let them know that just the video game. I don't care. Be mad at Napster all you want.
Yeah,
I kind of get it. They were stealing your money. I get that. But the video game, let the people jump up and down.
Yeah.
When I'm playing as an ACC school and I'm in Virginia Tech, I want the right. And all the jumping. It's cool.
Get it going.
The Adam Gold Show. Let's jump into a rewind. We started today's show talking about the NBA Finals. And specifically, we were talking about the two guys that I think the loss for the Mavericks falls on. And one of my takes here is there we go. Speaking of good music, accountability. This is one of my theories that if you listen to my show, which comes up after this one on 99.9 The Fan. If you're in other markets, you should check it out online, stream, YouTube, all those things. The Drive with Tim Donnelly. I talk about this a lot, but the only true accountability creator, the only thing where athletes and coaches are actually accountable is when they're held accountable by the scoreboard, right? Right now in the NFL, if you have a bad practice at OTAs, nobody's accountable for it. Nobody's at the post-practice press conference saying, today was on me. I didn't bring it. I was sloppy in the early part of practice, and it set the tone. Nobody does that. But as soon as you put a scoreboard up and you lose, then the post-game presser is, that's on me. As the head coach, I have to get him more prepared. The stars, I miss shots. I can't, have those lapses on defense. The only true accountability holder, the person or thing that holds anyone accountable is the scoreboard. So let's hold the Mavericks accountable because they lost game one, and they lost it pretty hideously. I think it's Kyrie Irving, and I think it's Derek Lively. And I'll actually throw this. It's a quarter of Luka Doncic. Luka played fairly well offensively, grinded through an injury that he obviously was feeling at points in time. He was getting blown by on defense a few times. So that's a quarter of Luka. The rest, I think a lot of it falls on Kyrie and Derek Lively, two guys that played their college basketball for their short period of time in college basketball in Durham with Duke. But first, let's hear from Jason Kidd, their head coach, on what he thinks the improvements need to be moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's just, about the positives. What can we do to build on the positives? We'll talk about that tomorrow. Understanding the small things, the physicality, we have to be better at that. But just looking at the positives, look at the things that we can control, and then we'll build from there.
What can you control? Can't control Kristaps Porzingis.
No.
Can't control Jaylen Brown blocking shots. Can't control the Celtics going on runs. I think it does come down to Kyrie Irving has to be here's what Kyrie Irving does so well. And here's what Kyrie Irving has done so well since his time at Duke. He absolutely makes it so you have to respect him, right? When LeBron had the ball and everybody wanted to triple team LeBron with the Cavs, you couldn't because you had to respect Kyrie. Now that it's happened, and in college, right, it was Nolan Smith. It was they had other established stars that had just won a national championship. When he was on the court, you had to respect Kyrie. Now you look at it, and Luka, right? You have to respect Luka. You have to give attention to Luka. You have to put your best perimeter defender on Luka. Kyrie is supposed to be the guy that steps up and keeps him honest. There were at least two, probably more, wide open threes Kyrie missed, and to be completely honest with you, for some reason, it was one of those, I'm not confident he's going to make these. Normally, he takes an open three. I'm like, that's a long layup. Let's get back on defense. There was one, he, caught it funny, and it was just, his rhythm's off, clank. There's another, he had almost too much time to think about it, off, clank. He needs to play better. And then Derek Lively, right, when Kristaps Porzingis goes nuts, and he's 7'3", and one of your best energy defenders is a 7'1" rookie that got in foul trouble, it's pretty easy to draw that line to Derek Lively has to play better defense. And he probably has to rebound better. And he has to not foul as much. Celtics beat the Mavericks. The Mavericks, I'm looking at the Duke guys to step up for game 2. And actually, I'll just throw this in there. It was one of my placing of our bets earlier. Another Duke guy I think is going to step up is Jason Tatum on the other side. His team won, so nobody's going to complain about it, but he didn't have a great game 1.
Yeah.
And I think he will in game 2 because he's Jason Tatum.
Yeah, why not?
And he's gigantic.
He's huge. And great.
Yeah. What can the Canes learn from the NHL postseason finale? The Stanley Cup final starts up this weekend. Feels like we haven't even seen a hockey game in what, 7 months?
Forever.
Only exaggerating a little bit.
Just a little.
Oilers, Panthers, Florida Panthers, obviously. What can the Canes learn from that? What can they learn from those two teams? They've reached where the Canes, even as successful as the Canes have been the last 6 years, right? All of the Rod Brindamore era is great. It's great. It's great. They haven't even reached the Stanley Cup Finals.
No, and they were favored all year long, too, from Vegas. All year. Throughout the whole series with the Rangers.
Which was crazy.
It was.
So what can they learn from the teams that made it? Right? If they don't want to be in this position. Do you know what position is the worst for Canes fans? And I talk about this all the time. It's needing to explain. What you're forced to be as a Canes fan over the last 3 years is actually people.
Yeah.
Because you get to the point where it's like, the Panthers swept you in the Eastern Conference Finals, and what do you have to say? Well, actually, it was much closer than that. There were overtime. None of them were more than one goal. It was overtime games. It was really just Kachuk got hot.
Rod said it wasn't a sweep.
Well, actually, it would have been different if just this one thing in game one changed. Well, actually, and all offseason you have to do that. Every time your friend who's like a Devils fan is giving you a hard time, you have to go, well, actually. And then this year, like you were just hoping to not have to, actually. And then what happens? You lose to the Rangers in the second round, and people are like, you were down 3-0.
Right.
Oh, God, I mean, all this, you didn't even make it to the conference finals. And what do? Well, actually, it was just a fluky power play thing. Our power play was good. It was 26% in the regular season. It just went cold at a bad point in time. And, actually,
either team could have won any game.
5-on-5, we won by multiple. Mm-hmm. We were winning by like 2 goals a game, 5-on-5. Well, actually, Chris Kreider just got hot. Well, actually, what are we supposed to do? It was Igor, Freddie, tired out. Well, it's like, all the Canes want. All Canes fans want is an offseason that's not actually. You don't have to explain, right? And the only way you don't have to explain is to win. You don't have to explain wins, right? Because what's the rebuttal for the Panthers? Well, actually. What's the rebuttal for the Rangers? Well, actually. They say the final tally of the series, right? Well, actually, 4-2.
Yeah.
That's what the Canes want. Well, actually, we made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. That's it. Then you don't have to go into all the explanation. So how can they look at the Panthers and the Oilers and say, what can we learn from them to help us get where they are? Let's start with the Oilers. The Oilers, they are not as complete as the Canes. They are not as complete as a whole bunch of teams in the NHL. But they make up for it with like 3-4 dudes, right? One of them named Connor McDavid, and that's what it takes, right? This is going to relate directly to Jake Gensel. I would rather have the 4 best players I could possibly have than like 12 solid players, right? It's looking at a series, and this goes for football, or I guess football doesn't have series. This goes for basketball, it goes for baseball, it goes for hockey. If you rank like the players in a power rankings of who's better in the entire series, and one team has like number 1, number 3, number 4, number 5, and the other team has 2, but like 3/4 of the top 20, I'm going, I'd rather have the one with 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd rather have the top heavy. I'd rather have the superstars. I'd rather have the guys that need to score the goal. Not just any goal, but the goal, the one that changes the series. I'd rather have that. And the Canes, over this run, have very much built to be like, yeah, they may have the better top 5, but we have the better top 20.
Right.
And it's glorious. And in the regular season, when it's all depth and you got to play every night and you got to play, you go on road trips for a week at a time, it's fantastic because you can keep guys fresh and you can play them all. But then you get to the postseason, and you don't keep guys fresh because it's the postseason. And your 4th line is barely playing, and your top 2 lines on defense are double shifting, and you're not rotating goalies anymore, and you're going all in, and the other team has oftentimes a better top 7. Jake Gensel, Sebastian Aho, Andrei Svechnikov, Seth Jarvis, Jacob Slavin, Like, this is where you win the top 10 for the first time in a while. And then Jake Gensel is going to get sent away.
Exactly. And another frustration, our top guy, who's supposed to be that guy, just doesn't always show up in the playoff. Aho is amazing, but we could have used more regular season Aho in the post.
The first of all, he had point production. So I like that. I'm anticipating that rebuttal to, like, what are you talking about? He had X amount of points. There's something to be said for what I referenced, scoring that goal. The goal, which he does in the regular season.
Yes.
Right? And he did it a little bit in the Islander series. Game 2, when he started the comeback, it was fetch to Aho to fetch, all that kind of stuff. In the biggest moments, score the goal.
Yeah.
And I love the Kane system. I love how they're always making the one extra pass. Like, I'll relate it to a conversation I had last night with the Celtics. Talking to my dad, who's a Celtics fan. Jaylen Brown took a quote-unquote bad shot. Hand in his face, early in the shot clock, put up a 3. And my dad, who's somebody that yells at the TV a little, come on, don't take that shot. I was like, you don't understand. That shot from Jaylen Brown is a better shot in a lot of ways than an open shot from, like, the 7th option on your team. And they had some subs on the floor. Like, he could have passed it to a more open shot. I don't think he would have passed it to a better shot. Gensel understands that. And I think Jarvis does a little bit. Although he was hurt and it didn't look like he did. Gensel understands that, like, Gensel being aggressive and forcing the issue and trying to score in a postseason is in a lot of ways better than, let me cycle it around one more time and see if we can get a more open shot. It's like, Aho needs a little bit of that, where it's, you know what, Aho, with maybe a worse angle, I'd rather have you shoot it than you to set somebody else up with a better angle a little bit further away. It's like, just be aggressive.
That's something else they can learn from the Oilers.
Oilers get shots on goal now.
They will shoot ugly shots, but hey, Hyman's there to make it work, so they can learn that too. There's a reason people say shoot the puck.
But now you won't have Gensel.
Yeah.
Maybe. Elliot Friedman reported this on the plan for the Canes and Jake Gensel.
Carolina's let everybody know that if you want to trade for his rights, for the chance to sign him, that it's possible for a mid-round pick.
A lot of teams lined up on that one.
I'm sure there's a ton of interest. I mean, you've just got to know, do you think you're going to get him?
What? If that is true, which we have no reason to believe it wouldn't be, they're so far out on Jake Gensel, I'm confused. They're so far out on Jake Gensel, they're like, yeah, we'll take whatever. A mid-round pick to let somebody else have all your advantages for trading for him this year? That tells me they're back to what I was talking about. They realize that if you pay Jake Gensel, and it'll probably be $9 or $10 million a year, maybe, who knows, whatever you go with. If you pay him that, you're going to have to, it might be Jake Gensel or Martinook, Chatty, and Natchez. Like, something like that is the opportunity cost. And they're going, well, we want to be better all the way down our roster. And I'm going, just be top heavy one time. The other news of the day, Dan Hurley still weighing his opportunity with the Lakers. UConn, two-time defending national champion basketball coach, is reportedly meeting with the Lakers today. Funny story. I'll give you this one quickly. So apparently Dan Hurley had like the I'm going to be honest with you meeting with his UConn players where he called everybody in and said like, yeah, I'm talking to the Lakers. I'm entertaining it, which is the like, I don't want this to be the rug pulled out from under you style deal. I play football at the University of Delaware. There was a story, and this was right before I got there. But when Michigan was hiring Rich Rodriguez, so Lloyd Carr moved, whatever, they fired, moved on, whatever. And they were hiring Rich Rodriguez. The coach, our coach at Delaware, reportedly, like my teammates told me, I guess that's reportedly, but I didn't hear this from a reporter. I heard this from guys that were on the team because I wasn't there yet. Said he called the meeting to let everybody know he was not interested in the Michigan job. This was the head coach of the University of Delaware, who Nobody on the team had read an article that said he was in the mix. Nobody thought he was in the mix, and he was just like, I'm sure you've heard. I just want to let you all know I'm not pursuing the Michigan job. And everyone was like, yeah, we know. We're also not pursuing the NFL draft this year because
right.
nobody is going to draft us. But anyway, so Dan Hurley had that. So he's actually talking with them. He's actually entertaining the Lakers job. And apparently Magic Johnson, Lakers great. He wants Dan Hurley to be the next Lakers coach.
Do you like these guys?
I like Hurley.
One you like? You like Hurley?
I want the coach to be Hurley. If we can sign him, I think it works for both. It works for Coach Hurley, who won back-to-back NCAA championships with Connecticut. So he has a championship background. He's great with offense and defensive strategy. I think that the players will respect him, and he's tough. The Lakers got to have somebody who will hold them accountable, right? And also, we got to play physical basketball. Denver will always beat us unless we become a much more physical team.
Okay.
Right? So we got to get more physical. That's why these two teams are playing in the finals, Boston and Dallas, because they're mentally tough and they're physically tough. We got to get both.
Magic Johnson thinks Dan Hurley could hold the Lakers accountable. What I want to do is that the follow-up question, if I were Jimmy Kimmel there, would have been, okay, it's 1990. You are a, 3-4-time NBA MVP, 3-4-time, 5-time NBA champion, and a college coach pops up on your sideline. Is it possible for him to hold you accountable? If that college coach looks at you and says, Magic, I need you to work harder in practice, are you looking at him and saying anything other than, better correct the way you're talking to me? Like Pat Riley could hold you accountable, but Pat Riley was there before you won the championships, at least as an assistant. I don't see Dan Hurley as Pat Riley to anybody. Dan Hurley, to me, is college coach, college coach, college coach. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Guess who else was college coach, college coach, college coach? Coach K. Guess who else was college coach? Nick Saban. Guess who else was college coach? Roy Williams.
Right.
Like they're for different reasons. Nick Saban, I think he learned when he went to the Dolphins, can't be as much of a hardo with the professionals, right? When you got someone that's making significantly more money than you and has significantly more power in the franchise, and you're trying to make them run gassers because they didn't have their mouthpiece in, and that's an exaggeration, but you get where I'm going with it, doesn't fly. I think Roy Williams probably wouldn't have worked as an NBA coach because he's about like that mentor, that turning young men into adults, and that's what he does so well. I think Coach K would not have been great in the NBA because those little mind tricks he plays, pros are going to be a bit more immune to him, right? We've all heard of, like, you come into the locker room and he took away everything that said Duke and you had to go earn the logo back. NBA players like, I'll go buy it from the team store. I'm not practicing in a blank practice jersey. I think Dan Hurley falls in that category. If I'm the Lakers, I'm not hiring him.
Yeah.
Not because he's not a good basketball coach, not because he doesn't know the game, because he's a college coach.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at Eric Bieniemy too. He was getting grief last season from his tough love approach.
Oh, yeah. I think it works better for an assistant at a pro level.
Yeah.
Because then the head coach can come in and be the
good guy.
Yeah. If Dan Hurley was going to be an assistant in the pros, I'd very much entertain it. I wouldn't be paying him $12, $13, $15 million.
No.
But I'd be much more open to it. Also, I'm not blaming Dan Hurley for entertaining it because it's going to be 3 times his salary, and that's the way business works. You build value, you cash in value. But I just think what he has cruising with UConn is so good. And I'll throw this out there for the teams in our markets, right? And for the teams in North Carolina. Oh, it's good for everybody involved if you get Dan Hurley the heck out of UConn. It's good for everybody involved. I don't care which college basketball team you root for in our state. It's good to get Dan Hurley the heck out of there. It's like when the AFC East rejoiced when Tom Brady retired and finally the Bills were like, we can be good now. maybe not that. He doesn't own the, but 2-time defending national champion. I mean,
Then he came to the NFC South. So thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, probably should have led that one differently. Well, let's be real. I mean, it's not like the Panthers would have won it all if it wasn't for that pesky Tom Brady.
Nope. Mm-mm.
He kind of got us through the rule years with an excuse. Well, it was Tom Brady. When in actuality, it had nothing to do with Tom. Could have been Jameis Winston. Could have been Matt Fitzpatrick.
No.
Or could have been any of them. Not Matt Fitzpatrick. He's in the Gulf going on right now. So here's how it's going to go, everybody. The Adam Gold Show is coming to a close, and I very much appreciate you all for spending your afternoon with me, sitting in, Tim Donnelly. Want to appreciate Victoria Vodenecker for producing the show and making sure I stayed this one on the rails. Please check out our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. From wherever you are listening to this, we are constantly putting out content from here at our studios, whether it's Panthers, Canes, really everything related to North Carolina. There'll be some golf stuff coming up with the U.S. Open next week. We'll be at the U.S. Open next week for both of our shows. So please check out our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube, growing the community there. If you are in the 99.9 The Fan kind of airspace, stick around. The Drive with Tim Donnelly is coming up next. Myself and Dennis will be stepping into those shoes. So
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
If you see me stopped in the McDonald's drive-thru, just staring at the menu with my "what should I order" face, don't interrupt. It's the most important decision I'll make all day.
Enjoy savings every day when you get a McDouble, McChicken, and other faves. Buy one, get one for $1. Plus, get any size Dr. Pepper for just $1.29. Price and participation may vary. Valid for product of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi.